AC on here. So, very good afternoon. So today we will be starting environment and ecology. Okay. So which subjects have been done till now? Modern history. Chalega. Polity and modern history. No, modern history. So we'll start. If you want my introduction. So my name is Ashish. I'm the faculty at Insights IAS, and I have been associated with Insights since past 6 years. And basically, out of my 6 attempts, I wrote 5 mains, and 2 times I have given civil services interview. And also, I was selected as an assistant commandant with All India rank 55, but I did not continue with the service. And since I like it, I started teaching. I'm a software engineer, by the way, just like all of you. I was initially working with Cummins and L&T Infotech. वो छोड़ के ये कर रहा हूँ, right? Because I like it. चलो, anyways, by taking cognizance of this, my optional is geography. By taking cognizance of this, I will be dealing with the environment and ecology. Is it clear? Let us start. 2 to 3 points before starting the lecture. Purely, we'll be focusing upon teaching aspects. ये motivation, positivity, jokes, I don't believe वो अंदर से होना चाहिए, right? 1. Second, I will be dictating the notes. Is it clear? And third, I will be giving you certain assignments. And when you are making the notes, don't make it on the book. Rather, books में मत लिखो. Rather, make it on the pages. A4 sheet जो आता है normal, उस पे, and 25 to 30% space you keep empty so that you can update it later when you are giving your prelims, right? In 2024. Is it clear? By taking cognizance of this, let us start with the environment and ecology. So, now since this is your, let us consider first one of the first GS class. For first 15 to 20 minutes, I will be giving you general orientation about the environment ecology, what we are going to do and how we are going to do. And I will set a clear-cut roadmap in your mind that what is the syllabus and why we are going in a particular direction. Is it clear? So, remember this mantra till you get into final merit list, that your preparation of UPSC examination, general studies, should be mains cum prelims. It should never be prelim-cum-mains, rather it should be mains cum prelims for any GS subjects 1, 2, 3 or 4. So, my part is basically about environment ecology, which is the component of general studies paper 3. So, before starting any subject, what is the basic fundamental thing that you should know? First, very good. We will be understanding syllabus of environment and ecology. Syllabus related to environment and ecology. UPSC have mentioned syllabus in its original gazetted notification, syllabus for prelims and syllabus for the mains. Syllabus for prelims and syllabus for the mains. Second, we will try to understand, depending upon the syllabus and previous year questions from 2013 till 2022, depending upon UPSC's original syllabus and the previous year question, we will try to analyze the importance of the subject, importance of the subject in both prelims and mains examination. First we'll understand the syllabus, then by taking the consideration of the previous year questions of past 10 years, we will understand what is the importance of this subject in prelims and mains. Depending upon this, we will understand in general the nature of subject, and the different topic. What is the idea? What we have to study, how we have to study, what is the nature of the subject. For example, if you consider biotechnology, it is completely scientific. When you consider philosophy, it is humanitarian. So वैसे how and in what way you are going to study environment and ecology, what should be our orientation, ये भी हम लोग समझ लेंगे. Depending upon these 3 points, importance, previous year questions. Now since you are not studied, I will give you a general idea. Depending upon these 3 points, we understood the nature of the subject, and depending upon all these things, we will understand your favorite point, that what are the sources that you should refer. These are the 5 things that you should know before starting or reading any subject. Is it clear? So let us start. Let us start with this point, that is the syllabus. Syllabus for UPSC prelims and syllabus for UPSC mains related to environment and ecology. What UPSC have asked, what I am trying to tell you in simplest word, this is one gazetted notification. Have you ever seen gazetted notification of UPSC? UPSC will release this each year, and in this UPSC will try to tell us that these are the things that you have to study. That means I am trying to tell what is UPSC expecting from an aspirant that he should have knowledge about. Let us first understand that, and then we will study the subject. First point, UPSC in its prelims examination mentions that UPSC environment and ecology, considering the prelims, UPSC says the student should know, first point, he should know, first point, general issues related to environment and ecology, biodiversity. Don't worry, I will ask you to write this. Don't write anything. I will give you time. Biodiversity and climate change that do not need subject specialization. Understand each word, then we'll move on to other part. So UPSC says that you are expected to understand the basic issues, only basic issues about basics of environment and ecology. Second, you should have a clear idea about the biodiversity, climate change and the associated issues of biodiversity, climate change, environment and ecology, where an aspirant should not, there is no need of doing something subject specialization. That means you should have a general idea, no need of doing PhD or masters in the subject. Is it clear? That is required for your optional, not PhD, rather I would say study up to the MA level. Getting the idea? So this is what is the exact clear cut word by word same syllabus mentioned by the UPSC. What the idea? For mains, UPSC says that in mains examination, it is the component of GS paper 3. It says that you should be knowing, this is what is mentioned, conservation, environment pollution and degradation, environment impact assessment. So these are the only 3 words mentioned by UPSC in its main syllabus. For example, you might have heard about river Ganga or Delhi pollution, smog, especially during the winters. So what is it? It is an environmental pollution based issues. So river Ganga is polluted, how are you going to conserve it? How is the forest ecosystem getting degraded? And depending upon, and later we have to study environment impact assessment. All these things I will teach you, but first I hope that you got the idea, each and every word of the mains and prelims. Depending upon the past year questions, previous year questions of UPSC itself from 2013 till 2022, an average each year in prelims examination, environment and ecology, there are an average around 15 to 18 questions. 15 to 18 questions are from the 15 to 18 questions you get from basically environment ecology. That means out of 100 questions, 18 question to 15 question, that is around 20% of the paper is only from environment ecology. Understand this. And in mains, taking the average of past 10 years, we know that in GS paper, mains paper, you have 20 questions, right? You have 20 questions comprising 250 marks, right? Out of these 20 questions related to environment and ecology, previous year questions depend upon the previous year questions of environment and ecology. In mains examination, there are average compulsory 3 questions are there, but sometimes 3 to 4 questions are from environment and ecology. That means out of 250 marks, 40 marks paper is from environment ecology, especially GS3 component. Is it clear? So first you have to understand the general issues of environment ecology, biodiversity and climate change, which do not need subject specialization. Also simultaneously we will study different issues related to environment and ecology. We will try to understand the reasons for their degradation and pollution, and depending upon that we will find the conservation aspects, right? And there is one statutory procedure that is called as environment impact assessment. These are the things that we are going to study in the mains, and if you try to understand the past 10-year papers, then we understand that an average around 16 to 18 questions are from the environment section in the prelims exam, and there are an average 3 to 4 questions in mains exam each year from environment ecology. Got the idea? Now, if you try to understand the nature of the subject, I hope you got this point. Syllabus. Second, did you understood previous year questions and the importance we understood depending upon the number of the questions which are asked in prelims and mains. That tells us the importance, or rather I would say weightage of environment in prelims and mains. So if you try to understand the importance, syllabus and previous year question, then we understand the nature of the subject and the nature of the questions asked. Nature of the subject and nature of the question asked in the examination in prelims and mains. So this part, that is nature of the subject. If you try to understand environment ecology, environment and ecology, need not to worry, I will teach you everything, is a semi-scientific subject. Where you need to have basic idea about biology. You should have basic idea about chemistry, and you should have basic idea about geography. Basic, very basic. I will teach everything. That is applied environmental biology, applied chemistry or environmental chemistry and geography. Right now what is happening with me? I am sweating. Why is it? Because outside temperature is more with respect to my constant body temperature. If you try to understand my body temperature right now or your body temperature, Humans have average body temperature of 37.6 degrees centigrade. If you go in Himalaya for trekking, you will try to shiver. And when you are shivering, what happens? Your body temperature increases. So that body is trying to maintain its constant internal environment. That is what is called as homeostasis. And right now it is very hot outside with respect to my internal temperature. मेरा body temperature 37 है, आपका भी, but outside is 40. So what is the response? Sweating. Getting the idea? ये क्या है? Bio का part है, but that will be related to ecology also. Getting the idea? Chemistry का भी same we will understand, geography का same we will understand. Is it clear? Next. If you try to understand the questions, the type of the questions asked especially of environment ecology in prelims examination and mains examination. Mains I will teach you simultaneously when we are learning the topics. Prelims का मैं बोलता हूँ in general. Prelims, you get 4 to 5 type of questions. First, you will get questions especially on the basics, questions related to basic concepts, very basic conceptual questions, basic fundamentals or conceptual questions. Second, you will get the questions on current affairs. Basics matlab, what is the meaning of ecology, what is the meaning of ecosystem, what is food chain, what is ecotone, etc. we will learn. मतलब simple basic terms etc. or application of it. Current affair based questions. Third, I am making a category called as general observation or common sense based questions. Have you ever seen tiger? Have you seen lion? Have you seen leopard? Have you seen or not? Yes, sir. Have you seen cheetah? Cheetahs. On 16th of September during the birthday of our honorable prime minister हमने reintroduce किया था in Kuno National Park. याद आया? So tell me, if I bring here one cheetah and one leopard, how will you identify which is cheetah and which is leopard? हाँ? So ये क्या कोई book में मिलेगा? It is there in the book, but it needs lot of inquisitive nature. Have you heard about a snake called as king cobra? How does it give birth to offsprings? कैसे होता है? Eggs देता है या directly बच्चा होता है उसको? So ये parts आपको कहीं पे नहीं मिलेगा. Have you seen the herd of the elephants? Elephants generally move in herd. Who is the leader of that herd? The oldest female in that herd is the leader of the. तो ये कोई book में मिलेगा? नहीं. एक general common sense based observation based things होते हैं. Getting the idea? And fourth is mapping based questions. Mapping related questions, right? If I say Sultanpur National Park, कहाँ पे Sultanpur National Park? Haryana. Since it is close, I have told you, I have not spoken about the other parts. So you will get the questions on these parts, basic concepts, common sense based questions, observation based questions on your daily life, mapping based questions and current application based questions, that is various conference of parties, summits, reports, declarations, etc. Is it clear? So these are the type of the questions that you will get in prelims related to environment and ecology. I hope everything is going in mind. Yes, sir. And the nature of the subject. But the nature of the subject is not same for all the topics. Depending upon the syllabus previous year question and the importance of environment ecology, and after understanding the nature of the subject, what we are going to study? We are going to study total 6 chapters. We are going to study total 6 chapters in environment and ecology. So these 6 chapters are as follows. I will tell you. First chapter that we are going to study is environment and ecology. Second, we study about biological diversity, biodiversity. Third, we study about environmental pollution and associated issues. Environmental pollution and associated issues. Fourth, we study about climate change and associated issues. Fifth, we study about national environmental legislations or governance. And at the end, we are going to study 6th chapter as international environmental governance. Be very, very extremely attentive. What I said, first we understood the syllabus of what? Prelims and mains. Given by whom? Not by me or not by insights, not by vision, given by UPSC. 3 things उन्होंने बोला. You should have idea about environment ecology. That would be our chapter 1. Second, you should have idea about biodiversity. That would be our chapter 2. Third, you should also have idea about the climate change. But before understanding climate change, you should also have simultaneously idea about the environmental pollution and degradation and associated conservation efforts. So third, we try to study environmental pollution. Fourth, we study national climate change. Fifth, we will try to study national environmental legislation and international environmental governance. I hope you are getting the idea. I will give you time to write, but first understand this. We understood importance, syllabus, etc. Then we understood the nature of the subject. That environment is a interrelated application-based subject. Environment is having its own science also. Environment is a science which has its own identity, but it also needs the basic common sense idea about the biology, chemistry and geography. That means applied biology, applied chemistry, applied geography. Common points. After understanding this, what I said, depending upon all these points, we are going to study these 6 chapters. And from these 6 chapters, especially related to the prelims, questions are asked in the following ways. Right? Now, the beauty of the environment or the beauty of each and every subject that you are going to study in UPSC, your journey, is the following. सब्जेक्ट का इन जनरल हमने नेचर समझ लिया, क्वेश्चन कैसे आते हैं वो भी समझ लिया, बट इज इट सेम फॉर ऑल दिस? नो. Every topic have its own unique demand, and you have to study the topic in that way only. If you are studying the topic as per what you think is right, then you will not score well. That means if you try to understand these for 6 chapters, for example, chapter number 1 is your environment and ecology. This chapter, environment and ecology, essentially is completely basic, will make your basics very strong and is completely conceptual. The nature of the topic number 1 is conceptual and will strengthen your basics, and you have the questions will be depending upon only these concepts and the basics, where you have to apply these concepts on the daily basis. Matlab application based questions will be asked in prelims and mains, but for that you need to have idea about the basic concepts. That will be cleared from chapter number 1. So chapter number 1 is theoretical and conceptual. Chapter number 1 is theoretical and conceptual. Biodiversity, that means just now I told you species, tigers, leopards, elephants, snakes, birds. Where are these found? Or where is Kaleshwar National Park, Sultanpur National Park? That means location, that means mapping. So biodiversity essentially has one of the component of mapping. Correct? Getting the idea? Environmental pollution. Let us take the type of environmental pollution. आपको पता है, air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, waste pollution, radioactive pollution, etc. All of you came to classroom either you have came by walking or you came on your own vehicle. Especially in Delhi, when you came by your own vehicle, most of your vehicles right now are running on petrol or CNG. Why not diesel? Because it is polluting. Why CNG? What is CNG and how is CNG helping us to reduce the pollution? So what are these? Switching or public transportation. If you try to understand Delhi Municipal Corporation ka buses, most of the buses are based on CNG buses or hydrogen CNG bus. You guys stay in Delhi, so that's why I'm considering this Delhi aspect and then trying to tell you. Hydrogen CNG bus hoga. So basically, how is it working? Or what is the solution? Or how is it helping to mitigate the environmental pollution, especially air pollution? Or during the winters, now since you have started your journey now, when it comes October or November, and when you are walking on this old Rajendra Nagar or anywhere near Connaught Place or anywhere, what will you see? You will see big trucks. On those big trucks, there will be one towers, and from those towers, there will be spraying at very high velocity. The क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Water will be sprayed. Why? Because spraying of the water at extreme high pressure and high velocity will settle down all the pollutants in the air, which will help in reducing the formation of the smog. But the water, these are the solutions to this environmental pollution. समझ में आया? इसका मतलब है this is a technical topic. ये आपका technical plus research based topics. This is your technical plus research plus current affair based topics. We are trying to move from diesel cars to petrol to CNG, CNG to electric to hybrid. For that you have to update the technology, update the fuel. Nowadays, whatever the fuel that you are using or whatever the cars that you are using are basically BS6 compliant fuel. Whenever you go to any gas power stations, petrol pumps, let it be Indian Oil, HP or Bharat Petroleum, what you see outside the board, lead free petrol, unleaded petrol. देखा होगा आप लोगों ने? Why is it unleaded petrol? I will tell each and everything. That means combustion in the IC engine is leading to the release of the lead. We'll come to that point. That means यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा technical knowledge plus current affair based things, application based things you should be knowing in this environment pollution. Climate change and associated issues, also it is a topic where you need to have the idea about what is climate change, what are the implications of climate change and how you can stop it. Getting the idea? And depend upon that we understand national environmental legislations, that is various laws and international environmental governance. Getting the idea? So what I want to say in the simplest word, that we have understood the syllabus, importance, the nature of the questions, the nature of the subject in general, but in detail each topic have its own unique demand, and depend upon that you have to prepare, and then only you can solve the questions or write the answers. Getting the idea? समझ में आया सबको? इसी तरह से you have to study for all the topics, let it be ethics, let it be history, let it be polity, let it be economy, etc. Every topic, every subject has its own demand, and within that subject you have different chapters and each chapter will have its own demand. Getting the idea? समझ में आया सबको? So this is what are the basic 5 points, 4 points. Which are the 4 points? Syllabus, previous year questions, importance, nature of the subjects and the various chapters that we are going to study, and uske baad what we are going to study, the favorite part of you all guys is the source. पढ़ना कहाँ से, कौन सा books पढ़ लो. So here, if you try to understand the sources for environment ecology, the most important source, I will say few of the sources are mandatory, where there is no any option in the market yet till now. In the past, जब से UPSC शुरू हुआ है, जब से मैंने शुरू किया, there is no alternative to the sources which I say as compulsory, and there are few things which I say as reference books. The mandatory book are NCRTs. Which NCRT? First, 12th standard. Don't write. I'm going to ask you to write all these things. 12th standard biology NCERT. In this 12th standard biology NCERT, I am giving you each and everything पूरा डिटेल में. In this chapter number, last 4 chapters, chapter number 13, 14, 15 and 16, ये 4 chapter आपको पढ़ना है. After that 11th standard chemistry NCERT. In this 11th standard chemistry NCERT, here you have to study chapter number 14, that is related to environmental chemistry. Chapter number 14. What is the idea? Third I will be writing late now. Geography NCERTs. In geography NCERTs, I am dividing it into different things. First, geography standard 9 and standard 10. Standard 9 and standard 10. From these two NCERTs, there is one chapter. उसका नाम है chapter related to natural vegetation and wildlife. This chapter you have to study from both of these NCERTs. मतलब 2 ही chapter पढ़ने आपको. After that you have 11th standard geography NCERT, right? 11th standard geography NCERT, it is not one. There are 2 geography NCERTs of 11th standard. First is your fundamentals of physical geography, and second is your India physical environment. In this fundamentals of physical geography, last 2 chapters, if I am not wrong, chapter 13 and 14 or 14 and 15, that is life on the earth, right? Last 2 chapters are extremely important. See, that does not mean the other chapters are not important. Other chapters are also extremely important for geography, but here I am trying to tell which are related to environment. And India physical environment, again the chapter on natural vegetation. This chapter is important. So geography NCERTs and the following chapters are extremely important for the environment and ecology. Is it clear? After this, the 4th point is your basically ICSE standard 10. ICSE बोर्ड जैसे CBSE होता है वैसे ICSE बोर्ड का स्टैंडर्ड 10 का एक बुक है, एनवायरमेंटल एजुकेशन. This book is very good source for your mains. मतलब for structuring the answer ये बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा बुक है, right? And the last one is your basically Oxford. Take the atlas, but जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वही लेके आना. Oxford student school atlas. Purchase this. You will need this for biodiversity, for mapping and for geography. यही atlas ले लेना, ज़्यादा helpful है, because for mapping it will be very extremely convenient for you, because nowadays international relations, world mapping and India mapping questions are increasing in number, which you can easily solve from this basically atlas. There are also other atlas, but those are more relevant for geography option. Getting the idea? These 5 sources NCERTs, matlab I have not said complete, others are also important chapters, but these are the chapters which are important from the environment perspective for the topic that I am going to teach. 4 chapters, 5 chapters and these chapters extremely important. These are, I personally feel, must go sources. Matlab these are sources from which you should compulsory read or go through. After this After this, depending upon your choice, you can use Shankar IAS environment book, Shankar IAS environment book, or PMFIS book, depending upon your choice. So you may ask me, sir, tell me from my perspective which should I use. I will tell what is the difference between these both books. Okay. Shankar IAS book was the first book which was launched for environment. So nowadays it is updated and multiple updated editions you get. Most of the times you have most of the contents, linear content given in Shankar IAS book. वही content more or less same 99.99% same content is given in PMFIS book in point wise and in diagrammatic forms. मतलब some of the ऐसे खाओ या फिर ऐसा खाओ, बात तो वही है. समझ में आया मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? दोनों में से जो भी बुक लिया होगा वो कंटिन्यू करना, दोनों एक ही है. बट फॉर योर बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड फॉर कन्वीनियंस ये ले लो. ये मतलब नॉट, आई एम नॉट आस्किंग यू टू परचेस, बट यू कैन गो थ्रू दिस सेम कंटेंट. बाइबल ये है, ये पॉइंट वाइज दिया है. बट अगेन both of these books, as I said earlier, shall be referred after going through these books and these chapters. अगर आप अपने आप को तोफ समझ रहे हो कि मतलब मैं डायरेक्टली बुक पढ़ के अगर जाके लिख के आऊँगा, ट्रस्ट मी नहीं हो पाएगा. समझ में आया? ये पढ़ने के बाद ही वो पढ़ो. ओके, ऑल ऑफ द सीनियर्स में टेल यू दैट इफ यू आर रीडिंग दिस तो मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता. They have certain idea about those topics, right? And they have spent their 4 or 5 years in UPSC. So I do not want you to make your UPSC journey a 5-year program. Is it clear? So इसीलिए ये बोल रहा हूँ. उसके बाद ये यूज़ करो. After this, if you get time, refer to India Yearbook का environment chapter. India Yearbook का environment chapter. Is it clear? For facts. And the last and the most important source I personally is your newspaper. There is no any other alternate source to this. Compilations, YouTube video, ये सब फिजूल की बात है. ये आपको पता चलेगा 5 साल जाने के बाद, आपके तब तक बुढ़े हो जाओगे. So trust me, take newspaper. Initially you may not understand anything. I do agree with you. Time लगेगा, but daily on your own, read the newspaper, read the editorial. कुछ भी समझ में आएगा. For example, now since you have started your journey right now and there is ongoing issue in Manipur, right? क्या समझ में आएगा? I can understand, but आपको इतना भी समझ में आएगा कि basically there is some issue in Manipur about certain tribes, Meitei tribe, Kuki tribe, Naga tribe, where one of the tribe is demanding ST status and few of the tribe are opposing it. तो यहाँ पे क्या है, basically constitutional perspective भी है. So if you're understanding, yeah, this topic is related to GS paper 2, related to polity. तो यहाँ तक भी समझ में आया ना अभी initial first month में, मतलब this topic is related to GS paper 2 constitutional aspects, and depending upon that, if you are understanding the basic of certain articles which are in news 371 etc, the spatial status, then आगे का हो जाएगा काम. बट ये खुद से ही करना है आपको. अगर someone comes and someone tells you ये ऐसा ऐसा है, so this will not help you in long run. Understand, UPSC is not a sprint, it's a marathon. आपको ही करना पड़ेगा. First you do it and once you get accustomed to it, उसके बाद कोई भी कर लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Compilations ये वो. Is it clear? But first you do it on your own. Since these are your initial days, I want you to read this on your own at any cost. Is it clear? You listen to any YouTuber, especially any topper, not YouTuber, topper, they will say that they have always read this, gone through this. So this is the most important habit that you should have. Getting the idea? So these are the important points, sources. This is the topics that we are going to see, the chapters that we are going to study. in environment ecology, and this is your nature of the subject, and topic wise it is nature of the subject varies for each topic. For each topic has its unique demand. Depending upon that, prelims में ऐसे questions आते हैं, mains में I will tell when I am teaching, and depending upon that we have seen the importance in prelims and importance in the mains. So by taking cognizance of all these things, we will start with our chapter number 1, that is your environment and ecology. But before that, you can take down all these points. First you write these points, syllabus. First you write environment ecology. I hope everyone got हम क्या कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं. So basically जिंदगी में कुछ तो क्लियर होना चाहिए कि क्यों कर रहे हैं, राइट. क्लैरिटी होगा माइंड में तो it will be very easy for you. Environment and ecology. Develop this habit for all the subjects. Extremely helpful. Syllabus, prelims and mains we will discuss. Second, previous year questions. Third, importance of the environment ecology in prelims and mains. Importance in prelims and mains. Next you write nature of the subject and each topic, that is we are going to study 6 chapters, and the sources and the sources. And the sources. Got it? Now write first point. Will now we will elaborate this. This was our index. Now this index we have elaborated. So now you write about prelims. This is what is the exact syllabus of UPSC. This is what UPSC has mentioned. General issues related to environment ecology, biodiversity, climate change, that do not need subject specialization. Done? लिख लिया? Now write mains. Exact words are conservation, environment pollution and degradation, environment impact assessment. Conservation, environment pollution, degradation, environment impact assessment, right? Done? Next, importance you write, importance of environment ecology, importance of environment ecology, importance of environment ecology, importance of environment ecology on the basis of the previous year questions of UPSC. On the basis of previous year questions of UPSC. In prelims, you will get around 15 to 18 questions roughly each year in prelims, and in mains, you shall get 3 to 4 questions in general studies paper 3. Done? Each year you will get general studies. In GS3 paper, you will get 3 to 4 questions which are from environment ecology. Next you write the nature of the subject. First point, nature of the subject. it has first point you write, it has application of you write it needs application of basic biology, chemistry, it needs the application of basic biology, chemistry and geography. The approach, next point, the approach of each chapter, shall vary, vary, since the demand of each topic is different. Next point, right? Nature of the questions asked in prelims exam. First, just see, right? Basic conceptual questions, simple basics or conceptual questions, or applied question, you can write here only, or application based question, basic conceptual or application based question. Second, current affair based questions. Third, general observation based questions. And fourth, mapping based questions. Done. Next point you write like this, first you write sources and then we'll write chapters. Sources, cut, copy, paste. 12th standard biology NCERT, chapter 13, 14, 15, 16. Eleventh standard chemistry NCERT, chapter 14 environmental chemistry. Done, guys? Yes. Next you write geography NCERTs. In geography NCERT you write first standard 9 and 10 का कौन सा यूज करना है, मेनली chapters related to natural vegetation and wildlife. Next 11th standard geography NCERTs दो है. First is fundamentals of physical geography NCERT. Last two chapters, chapter number 15 and chapter number 16. Next, India physical environment. Natural vegetation, that is chapter number 5. ICSE का you can download it, the PDF you can get it on the Google. इसका PDF मिल जाएगा, don't purchase this book, PDF मिल जाएगा टेलीग्राम पे. ICSE standard 10. I'm really sorry, this is chapter number 13 and 14. देख लेना लास्ट के 2 चैप्टर्स, आई विल टेल योर लास्ट 2 चैप्टर्स एंड हियर नेचुरल वेजिटेशन का चैप्टर. ओके, if I'm not wrong, this is chapter 13 and 14. Last 2 chapters, this is chapter number 5. I'm not remembering the exact numbers. इसका PDF ले लो. मेंस के लिए स्ट्रक्चरिंग, मतलब फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हाई आई टोल्ड यू दिस, if I ask you a particular question and if you are writing the answers in the means, you need to write a structured answer. मतलब headings, मतलब sub headings and points and examples. You will get this good structured यहाँ पे. Any idea? Next you can write Oxford Student School Atlas, Shankar or PMFIs, any book, India Yearbook का certain selected chapters that I will tell you after the classes, and newspaper. I hope everything is going in a structured way in your mind. So depending upon all these points, we are going to study, right, index these 6 chapters. Environment ecology. So you write these chapters on new page so that आपको पता चलेगा what are you going to study. Environment ecology chapter 1, second biodiversity, biological diversity. Third, environmental pollution and associated issues. Fourth, climate change and associated issues. Fifth, national environmental legislations. And sixth, international environmental governance. ये 6 चैप्टर्स पढ़ेंगे. Why these 6? I have told you on the basis of the syllabus and the previous year questions. Done. Let us start with the first chapter. As I have mentioned, this is a conceptual theoretical topic. First we will write index of this, मतलब इसमें क्या क्या पढ़ना है, and depending upon that we will study. First we will understand, you can write with me only, this first in this chapter. Now you write new, first chapter you write, chapter 1, environment ecology. Chapter 1, environment and ecology. First we will understand all the basic terminologies, of chapter 1. इसका मतलब क्या है? We will understand environment का मतलब क्या है, ecosystem क्या है, ecology क्या है, habitat क्या है, basic words जो होते हैं, terms, उनका definition समझेंगे. I will teach, need not worry. Second, we will understand we'll move on to the main topic, that is ecosystem. इसमें meaning, types of ecosystems, that is terrestrial, that is land, and aquatic. उसके बाद components of the ecosystem, In this components of ecosystem we will understand 2, that is abiotic components and biotic components. In abiotic components we will understand response and adaptations. आप सिर्फ लिख लो, आई विल टीच रिस्पॉन्स एंड एडाप्टेशंस, response and adaptations, response and adaptation, response and adaptation components, abiotic component and biotic components, response and adaptation to the abiotic components by the plants and animals, and then biotic components, right? Done. Third main point that we are going to study later is ecosystem. Done? You are not done. Ecosystem. What is the ecosystem का structure and functioning? How does it structure and how does it function? While we are understanding the structure and functioning of the ecosystem, we will understand ecological productivity, the concept of ecological productivity, then the concept of energy flow, in ecosystem. We'll also understand the concept of trophic level, the concept of trophic level, and the concept of food chain, comma food web and associated issues. Food chain, food web and associated issues of bio accumulation and biomagnification. Ecological productivity, energy flow in an ecosystem. Don't worry, just you take down each and every point I will explain in detail. Trophic levels, food chain and food web, bioaccumulation and biomagnification, ecological pyramids, ecological pyramids. Then we'll also understand biogeochemical cycles, then certain other concepts, certain miscellaneous concepts or other concepts, certain other miscellaneous concepts like ecological succession, ecotone, ecological niche, biotic interactions, etc. Biotic interactions, ecological succession, ecotone, ecological niche, biotic interaction, right? And we'll also understand terrestrial ecosystems like forest ecosystem, grassland, then grassland, desert and tundra, that is North Pole and South Pole. इनका हम लोग क्या क्या पढ़ रहे हैं? First we will understand the basics, distribution, threats and issues, and then conservation efforts. Forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem, tundra ecosystem, basics related to it, what are the threats and the issues associated. ये पूरा मेंस है आपका, पूरा मेंस, right? Conservation efforts, right? Similarly, aquatic ecosystem issues. Yeah, just a minute. Aquatic ecosystem and associated issues. Why I am doing this? Anyone? Because when you are giving your prelims and mains, it will be just a cakewalk for you. ये 2 पेज देखना आपको काम हो गया आपका. Getting the idea? Now you will feel it, but when you are revising it after 4 to 5 times after revision, you have to not see all the notes or not complete books. ये 4-5 2 pages देख लो, बात खत्म हो जाएगा. Getting the idea? समझ में आ रहा है आपको? In a flow I will tell. In aquatic ecosystem you write basically multiple like lakes, lake ecology, then उसके बाद you have wetlands, wetland ecology, coral reef, mangroves, ocean ecosystem, etc. Ocean ecosystem, etc. Lake ecology, there are still many, I have mentioned few. Wetlands, corals, mangroves, ocean ecosystem, etc. What are we going to study? इनका भी same चीज पढ़ेंगे हम लोग. Basics, threats, issues and conservation efforts. Done, everyone? Chalo. Now don't write. Now first listen. I will just sum it up for every one of you so that you will understand. We are starting our today environment ecology for super OGP batch. Here we will be studying mains cum prelims environment ecology. Here first we understood the prelims syllabus. First we will understand the syllabus that we have already understood, prelims and mains. Depending upon the syllabus and the past year questions, because this is so vast, syllabus is so general that it includes everything under the sun. Because of this aspect, to narrow down our focus, we saw previous year questions. Depending upon these two aspects, we understood the importance of this subject in prelims and mains. Depending upon that, we understood the nature of the subject in general, and we also understood which are the chapters that we are going to study. After that, we understood what are the sources that we have to refer for studying these chapters. By taking cognizance of this, we started with our journey with the 6 chapters, where the first chapter is related to environment and ecology. In that, the first most important theme is our basic terminologies, right? Because here you have written multiple words like ecosystem लिखा है आप लोगों ने, multiple words लिखे आपने. But before understanding that, let us understand what is the basic terms related to chapter 1. Now don't write, let us see. I hope you are enjoying this way. This is one of the most important terms, this is one of the most important theme of chapter 1. Don't write. पहले समझो, बाद में मैं dictate करता हूँ. Because it seems to be extremely easy, but when it comes to the UPSC exam, 99% of the बच्चे go incorrect. So let us try to understand the minute difference in it. So there are the different terms that you have to study. The first term is the meaning of the word environment itself. Second, you have to understand the meaning of the word biosphere. Then you have to understand the meaning of the word habitat. Fourth, you have to understand the meaning of ecosystem. Fifth, we will understand the meaning of word ecology, and we will understand the different levels of ecology. So these are the 5 things that are extremely important to understand all the parts of environment and ecology. Is it clear? Let us start with the basic simple definition of environment. What is environment? Anyone? What is environment?
Everything that surrounds us.
Very good. Environment. Environment means basically, right now you are attending this class and you are sitting in a classroom. Who are you? You are an individual. Let us come to that biology part. You are an individual organism. Which organism you are? Homo sapiens. You are an organism sitting in a classroom. And in this classroom right now when you are sitting, you are surrounded by other organisms. Which are these other organisms? Again Homo sapiens, right? And right now when you are sitting, you are breathing, you are inhaling. What are you inhaling? Oxygen. And what are you exhaling? CO2, right? That means everything surrounding an organism, everything surrounding an organism is its own environment, Here I have given a very crude example of your own sitting in the class. Now take an example of polar bear. Have you seen polar bear? Where does it live? Polar, shabash. Oscar दे दूं क्या आपको? This is your earth geoid shape. Which direction is this? North. तो ये आपका है नॉर्थ पोल और ये आपका है साउथ पोल. गुड. पोलार बियर सुना है आप लोगों ने? पेंगुइन्स सुना है आप लोगों ने? पेंगुइन्स. वेयर डू यू फाइंड पेंगुइन्स? अभी ये मत बोलो पोलार एरिया. हाँ, पोलार एरियाज में पेंगुइन्स डू यू फाइंड हियर या हियर? एटलीस्ट एवरीवन, हैव यू सीन पेंगुइन्स? पोलार बियर आपको यहां पे मिलता है, यहां पे मिलता है. सो विल दिस बी गिवन इन एनी बुक? ये कॉमन सेंस का पैटर्न. आप लोगों को सब कुछ पता है, तभी भी पता नहीं, अभी गॉट कंफ्यूज्ड. दिस इज व्हाट इज यूपीएससी. इज इट क्लियर? So for example, let us consider penguins where you have Antarctica, that is South Pole, as its own habitat. So what I mean, an organism is surrounded by different type of environment. Any organism which is the surrounding of an organism could be either different abiotic elements or biotic elements. Biotic elements means living elements. मतलब the one which has life and which do not have life is your abiotic components. So everything that is surrounding an organism, let it be anywhere at any scale, is your environment. मतलब environment is everything. In shortest word, environment is everything. Because presently I am also an organism or a species which is surrounded by and other organisms which are again Homo sapiens, and where we are right now basically having or breathing the air which is abiotic components, we are drinking the water which is abiotic component. That means we are interacting with the abiotic component. What is my interaction with the air gaseous component? Inhaling, exhaling, right? What is my interaction with you? Basically I am also interacting with you. Getting the idea? It is a positive interaction. Getting the idea? So everything surrounding me is my present environment. So at a larger scale, everything that is surrounding an organism is called as basically environment, which essentially comprises both abiotic and biotic elements. And these biotic and abiotic elements are influencing me, right? Getting the idea? So this environment. So before going to next point, let us try to understand on the earth what we have. Land. So इससे पहले geography नहीं हुआ, तो I will try to tell you basic. Imagine this is our earth. Our earth is of geoid shape. Earth is of geoid shape where there is bulge at the center. Center को बोलते हैं in technical words equator. This is your 0 degree and this is your 90 degree. From 0 to north, this is your north hemisphere. From here till here, and this is your south hemisphere, right? Here these parallel lines of the earth are called as latitudes. ये जो parallel lines है, what we call them? Latitudes. And these straight lines are called as longitudes, right? Now this north hemisphere में geoid shape है. On our earth, what do we find? Land and water, right? Land and water. How much percent land we have on the earth right now? 30% of the area of the earth is occupied by the land and rest is your water, correct? This land on our earth we can find it in the form of different continents, correct? And these are your oceans and seas, oceans and seas, especially oceans. Now this is what the earth looks like when we consider it in the terms of the normal world map. This is not needed, this is not the part of environment ecology also, but still you should have a basic idea about it, right? So just be attentive. So the same thing which I have drawn here, why I am teaching you, I will tell you. I am right now telling you the terminologies, but for that you should understand some basic. This is our earth, this is what it looks like from the space, right? Out of that you have water and land. This water is none other than this part, that is your oceans, right? This is your oceans, this is your water. This water comprises 70%, and this is your continents, that is the lands. Continents like North America, South America, Africa, Europe or Eurasia, Asia, Australia and Antarctica. Antarctica is also a continent. This is 30% area, this is 70% area. Land is called as terrestrial area. Terrestrial matlab land. So on the earth you have first component, that is land, that is terrestrial. Second is your water component, right? And third is your air component. Water is called as hydrosphere. Air component on the earth is called as atmosphere. And this is called as lithosphere. So these are the three main components of the earth: land, water and air. Because of these three components only, land, water and air, what we have? Life. Pani, land and air. Atmosphere means around the earth there is thin layer of the gases which are surrounding the earth's surface. Presently there is gases in the classroom, that is nothing but a component of the atmosphere, right? Wherever there is an interaction of these three components, the interaction point is called as biosphere. That means biosphere, ये पूरा water है, this is land, this is air. Biosphere is that component of the earth which supports life, which have life. If you try to consider birds have to come down on the earth for drinking water and for food. They can't just sustain in the air. In water you have basically aquatic organisms. They also have to depend upon the phytoplanktons for their food or zooplanktons for their food. Zooplanktons have to depend upon the plants, and plants have to grow on the basis of the minerals and the nutrients that they get from the soil. Getting the idea? That means there is a continuous interaction between land, water and air component. And at the interaction of this, you have biosphere. In that area, you will be having life. That means biosphere is that component of the earth which supports life. Biosphere is generally, next point, biosphere is generally absent at extreme North Pole and extreme South Pole. Biosphere, I am saying, is generally absent at the extreme North Pole and extreme South Pole. Why? Because in extreme South Pole, what do you have? Antarctica, right? In Antarctica, what you have? Extremely low temperatures. Extremely low temperature, -40, -80, -100 sometimes. मतलब extremely low temperature. And on this continent, you have complete glaciers, correct? इसके ऊपर पूरा क्या है? Glaciers. Glaciers, extreme low temperature, एंड लैक ऑफ प्रेजेंस ऑफ द सॉइल. सॉइल है क्या इसके ऊपर? नहीं, बिकॉज वाई? ग्लेशियर्स है. सो लैक ऑफ सॉइल, एक्सट्रीम ग्लेशियर्स, थिक ग्लेशियर्स and low temperatures, will it support life? Will it support life? No. That means at extreme, I'm not saying, just now we spoke about penguins. Penguins we spoke around 55 to 60 degree latitude. I'm saying at the extreme north pole. That means at extreme north pole matlab at 90 degree. At 90 degrees on the earth's surface, the life will be not seen because of the limiting factors of temperature, of the sunlight, of the water availability, etc. Getting the idea? So biosphere is that component of the earth where wherever is the life is possible. So at all these places life is possible. So all these are the components of the biosphere. That means ये भी biosphere का component है, ये भी biosphere का component है, ये भी everything. Wherever the life is possible, that will be the component of the biosphere. Now this biosphere, what I am going to do, I am going to divide this biosphere which is supporting life and which is absent. It is absent. Where it is absent? At extreme, this is important, at extreme north pole and south pole, correct? Now imagine this is 100%. This 100% I am going to further divide into smaller parts. Getting the idea? This 100%, again I am repeating, I am going to divide it into smaller parts. This 100% I am showing it in this way. This is nothing but a component wherever life is possible. Now here I am going to divide that component, imagine, into smaller units. For me it would be easy for me to study. This structural and functional unit of the biosphere, imagine this is also structural functional unit of the biosphere, this is also component of the biosphere, this is also component of the biosphere, all of these are the component of the biosphere. So structural and functional unit of biosphere is called as your anyone ecosystem. The structural, first environment means everything that is surrounding organism. Now on this earth, wherever you have life, that is nothing but biosphere. The component that is the biggest component is your biosphere. Now what I have divided for easy study of this biosphere, I have divided biosphere into smaller units. That is structure function unit. It is just equivalent to the following things. We have human body. Our body is made up of various organs, limbs, hand, nose, right, head, everything. These are organs. Organs are made up of different, let us consider tissues. Tissues are made up of our different cells. So what we say, cell is the structural and functional unit of the human body. समझ में आपको? Exactly in same way, पूरा body मतलब biosphere. That biosphere is divided into smaller parts. That is nothing but your ecosystem. Correct? So ecosystem is nothing but a structure and a functional unit of the biosphere where both abiotic and biotic components are present. Where both abiotic and biotic components are present, where both components are present and are interacting with each other and are interacting and interdependent upon each other and are interacting and are interdependent upon each other through the transfer of, very good, through the transfer of energy. सिर्फ एनर्जी चाहिए क्या? वेरी गुड, एनर्जी एंड मैटर. राइट नाउ यू आर सिटिंग इन द क्लासरूम, पराठा खाया होगा सुबह नाश्ते में, दोपहर को चावल खा के आए होगे, राइट? पराठा खाया होगा, आलू पराठा, मोस्ट ऑफ द दिल्ली पीपल ईट आलू पराठा, राइट? आलू पराठा मतलब पोटैटो, पोटैटो ग्रोज इन द एयर, नहीं ना, ऑन द सॉइल. व्हेन यू आर ग्रोइंग अ क्रॉप ऑफ अ पोटैटो, राइट, क्या होगा? व्हेन इट इज ग्रोइंग, इट इज मेकिंग यूज ऑफ द वाटर and the nutrients in the soil. After its growth, we are plucking it up, taking, and then we are consuming. That means matter or the energy is transferring from one component to the other component. तब जाके मैं जिंदा रह रहा हूँ. Getting the idea? That means ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of a biosphere where you have both biotic and abiotic elements, and all of these elements are in interaction with each other and are dependent upon each other for the transfer of matter and energy, interacting and interdependent for the transfer of energy and the matter. Getting the idea? समझ में आ रहा है सबको? So I hope that you understood. The environment means everything that you find surrounding an organism. Let that organism be here, anywhere, right? Next. Now here, try to tell me, where do you find kangaroo? कंगारू कहाँ पे मिलता है आपको? ऑस्ट्रेलिया, राइट? कंगारू हियर, यू फाइंड इट हियर, करेक्ट? वेयर डू यू फाइंड पेंगुइन्स? एज यू सेड, हियर. पोलर बियर्स हियर, राइट? वेयर डू यू फाइंड जिराफ? करेक्ट? वेयर डू यू फाइंड राइनोज? राइनोज देखा है आप लोगों ने? राइनो मल्टीपल प्लेसेस, अफ्रीका वगैरह, बट इंडिया ले रहा हूं. That means what I have taken? I have taken different species. One is your bird species, a flying, मतलब bird, jack, penguins, polar bear, giraffe, kangaroo, and rhino. They are found at the different places, right? Fox, पता है आपको? Fox and hyenas. Fox and hyenas you can find generally in arid areas. This is a complete desert-like areas or semi-arid areas. Giraffe you will find in the grasslands, polar bear in a colder climate, right? That means different organisms are found in different climatic areas, and these are their places in where they can be found. That means if I say you, I want to know where is kangaroo found, then what you told me? Australia. That means what Australia is its address. Address मतलब habitat. Habitat is nothing but, in the simplest words, the address of an organism, where it is found. If I want to find giraffe, मुझे यहाँ पे जाना पड़ेगा. If I want to know kangaroo, I have to go to Australia. If I want to know rhino, Indian rhino, then I have to go to Kaziranga and Manas. So that is its habitat. Habitat is nothing but the place of residence of an organism. Habitat is nothing but a place of residence. Place of residence of an organism. Now here, these organisms we have considered only animals. You have to also know plants, birds, etc. Have you seen Pushpa? Recently, Allu Arjun ka movie Pushpa wala, झुकेगा नहीं वाला. Have you seen? What is this related to? What was that movie related to? Which? Sandalwood. Sandalwood हिमालयस में मिलता है क्या? कहाँ पे मिलता है? आंध्र प्रदेश में शेषाचलम. That means habitat of red sandalwood is शेषाचलम. समझ में आया आपको? Is it clear? So that is also living organism. Plants are living organisms. मतलब any organism which is surrounded by multiple aspects, biotic, abiotic, is called as environment. At a larger scale, you have biosphere. Biosphere is that component of the earth which has life or which supports life and which is generally absent at extreme north and south pole. The place of residence of an organism is called as its habitat, right? Ecosystem is a structure and a functional unit of a biosphere, where you have both biotic and abiotic elements which are interacting and interdependent upon each other by the transfer of matter and energy. Getting the idea? This is your ecosystem. So these are your main four terms, first four terms. Environment, everything surrounding an organism, everywhere, कहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. It could be arid environment, मतलब hot deserts, it could be forest, it could be anything. Biosphere is that component of the earth wherever you have life is possible, which is generally absent at extreme north and south poles. The smaller parts, the structure and functional units of the biosphere are nothing but your ecosystem. The place of residence of a particular organism is representing its habitat. And ecology. Now if I say, for example, in simplest words, biology. What is the meaning of biology? Bio means living, logy matlab scientific study. So scientific study of living organism is your biology. Exactly वैसे here we have to study ecology. Ecology is nothing but the scientific study of ecosystem. समझ में आया? Again I am repeating, biosphere is the largest component on the earth, largest component on earth that supports life, right? Now this largest component on the earth which supports life, I have divided into structural and functional unit. Structural and functional unit of biosphere is your ecosystem, where you have both abiotic and biotic elements which are interacting with each other and within themselves. We are also biotic elements. I am interacting with you and you guys are also interacting with yourself, correct? So interaction between biotic and abiotic elements, interdependence by transfer of matter and energy. Now question is, how are we related to each other and how are you guys related to each other? I have to study it. I have to understand it from the scientific perspective, and studying it from the scientific perspective is my ecology. So the scientific study of ecosystem is ecology. From ecological perspective, that is from environment perspective, let us consider a simple example. Have you heard about a symbiotic association? Symbiotic association or mutualism? Symbiotic association or mutualism matlab between the two species, what is the relationship? When have you heard about the groundnut plants? At groundnut plants root nodules, what you have? Rhizobium bacteria. Those bacteria, what they do? They help in nitrogen fixation, which helps in for plants growth. And in turn, plant is providing them shelter. Matlab, plant is helping bacteria and bacteria is helping plant. Both of them are benefiting each other. That means both of them are mutually associated with each other. And this is called as symbiosis. Bacteria is also living organism, plant is also living organism. That means there is an interaction between two biotic organisms. Let us take another example. In morning, instead of potato, let us take methi paratha. You had methi paratha in the morning. Methi is a plant, but biotic, and we are also a biotic component. हम लोगों ने क्या किया? मेथी खाया. That means we are predators. We are eating methi. मतलब we are predators in ecological terms. These are symbiotic association, helping each other. For UPSC, there is a competition between two species, that is you guys. There are only 1,000 seats, vacancies, and there are going to be around, I would say, 2,800 students for the interview. So there is a competition between 2,800 species for 1,000 posts. So studying this from ecological perspective in a scientific way is my ecology. Iska scientific study is ecology. How they are interrelated, how the transfer of matter and energy is happening, each and everything in detail is your ecology. Getting the idea? So this ecology word was coined in 1866 by a person named as Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel coined the term ecology, and ecosystem word was coined by Arthur Tansley in 1935. Arthur Tansley coined ecosystem and Ernest Haeckel coined ecology. ये यूपीएससी पूछेगा नहीं, डोंट वरी, वो छोड़ दो, वो स्टेट्स को लगता है. बट बेसिक्स आई होप यू आर गेटिंग द आइडिया. एंड नाउ लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड लेवल्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म इन अ इकोलॉजी. यहां तक समझ में आया सबको? एनीवन, एनी डाउट? यू कैन इंटरैक्ट, बोल सकते हो.
Sir, despite the difference in definition,
Huh.
what is the difference between ecosystem and environment? Like both are
It is a,
surrounding-
see, yeah, everything. This is the biggest component. ये पूरा general term है, environment. Studying in environment have all these things, biotic, abiotic. इसमें भी सब कुछ वही है. Getting the idea? But studying that environment in a scientific way is our ecology. Getting the point? Now, levels of ecology. In ecology, what we have? Biotic and abiotic elements. Now, let us try to take first biotic elements. Let us take one simple example, and depending upon that, let us go further. Let us take Northeast India. Let us consider Northeast India. Let us consider Northeast India. In Northeast India, here we have Assam. In Assam, let us consider Kaziranga National Park. Kaziranga National Park. In Kaziranga National Park, what do you find? Rhinos, tigers, etc. Elephants, सब मिलते हैं. Now, in while understanding the levels of organizations in ecology, let us try to understand the basics. First, imagine in this classroom or in Kaziranga National Park, you have only one individual species. You have one individual species or an organism. Individual species or an organism. सिर्फ कितना मैंने बोला? एक. मतलब one rhino or one student. One rhino or one student, I am calling him as organism. That is Homo sapien. Multiple organisms of Homo sapiens, what are we all forming? Population. मतलब in this classroom right now there is a population of one species and उसका नाम क्या है? Homo sapiens. We are the population. Population represents multiple species. Sorry, multiple organisms of same species. Understand? ये important, of same species which can interbreed and produce offsprings. Which can interbreed and produce offspring. इसका क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? Population. Homo sapiens is a population of basically Homo sapiens का multiple organisms of Homo sapiens will form population, right? Now ये किसका है? सिर्फ एक single species. Classroom का example है. One example is of classroom and one example is of Kaziranga National Park. So first एक ही rhino था यहाँ पे, only one rhino. Now we had 15 rhinos. Let us consider 15 rhinos. मतलब we have population of rhinos. But other than rhinos, in Kaziranga National Park, you also have tigers, elephants. That means that is called as community. Community of organism in ecology represents multiple organisms or multiple organisms of different species. मतलब in simplest word, in Kaziranga National Park, now you have rhino plus elephants plus tigers. मतलब population of tiger भी होगा, population of elephants भी होगा, population of rhinos भी होगा. Where? In Kaziranga National Park. That means Kaziranga National Park is a habitat for tigers also, elephants also, everything. That means it is representing community of organisms. This is a population and this is your individual organism. Right? Now when I am studying this individual community at a larger scale, let us take example of a forest ecosystem. In India, along Western Ghats पता है आपको? Let us consider Western Ghats and also let us consider the desert. So the temperature, precipitation and the type of the soil is different in Rajasthan with respect to Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, coastal area, different hai. Here also you have community of organisms. Community of organism matlab in the forest of the Kerala you will find different type of snakes, birds, animals, plants, right? Now these are your tropical evergreen forest. These are your tropical evergreen forest. Now just imagine here what I am doing, I am studying this tropical evergreen forest of India, also of Congo rainforest in Africa, also of Congo, India ka bhi I am studying Western Ghats, I am also studying of the Congo rainforest in Africa, I am also studying Brazil mein, what is this? Amazon rainforest, and also studying Southeast Asia ka, Indonesia ka. All these are your forest only. These are tropical evergreen forest. So these all are representing an individual ecosystem. कौन सा ecosystem था वो? Forest ecosystem. Correct? What was it? A forest ecosystem. But in India सिर्फ एक ही ecosystem है क्या? No. We have deserts, we have forest, we have grasslands, we have glaciers, we have everything, and all of this together, not only at India, at a world level, forms your biosphere. Multiple ecosystem form your biosphere. समझ में आया? So biosphere का structure function unit is ecosystem. In ecosystem you have community of organisms. So community of organisms means the organisms which are of belonging to different species and which have diversity. और उसके बाद population मतलब multiple organisms belonging to the same species and individual species or organism. समझ में आया आपको? Everyone. So these are your basic terms: environment, biosphere, habitat, ecosystem and ecology. Is it clear? You also have one of the term which is interchangeably used with the word ecosystem, that is biome. इसके साथ this is interchangeably used, and most of the times, most of the books you will find ecosystems and here biome or the word biomes and multiple biomes forming the biosphere. What is the difference between the biome and biosphere? Let me try to tell you, because for this you need to understand geography. That I will teach you. यहाँ तक समझ में आया सबको? Easy? But this is just the first point of our chapter, और वो भी एक छोटा सा point है, हमें और पढ़ना है. Anyways, but right now here I will see forest ecosystem or forest biomes, grassland ecosystem, grassland biomes, desert ecosystem, desert biomes, tundra ecosystem, tundra biomes. This is just the part of land-based ecosystems. Forest नहीं, land-based. Water का तो पढ़ना है हमें. We are right now studying this part, that is various basic terms. Is it clear? I will try to tell you about the biomes, but first we will write about this and then we will move on to part. Is it clear? You just write headings, basic terminologies. Enjoying? Pakka. Sorry? Groups of हाँ, वो तो उसका बेसिक यूनिट, और वो जो बेसिक लेवल्स मॉलिक्यूल्स सेल्स जो बोल रहे हैं ना, ऑर्गेनिज्म इज मेड अप ऑफ एंड बेसिकली बॉडी, उसके अंदर टिश्यूज, टिश्यूज के अंदर सेल, सेल का बेसिक यूनिट. सो जस्ट गो बैक टू द 5.4 बिलियन years ago, sorry 4.5 billion years ago when life started to evolve. We are not like this multicellular first, we are unicellular bacterias, and from bacteria started the plants, organisms, etc., etc., and then we have evolved. Getting the idea? Biosphere, environment, biosphere, habitat, ecosystem. Done? I think you guys take a 5 to 10 minutes break. 10 minutes break le lo. We'll reassemble. I will tell you the biomes and discover definition, and then we move on to the ecosystem. Lecture is from 4 to 8. Is it clear? एक थोड़ा सा ब्रेक ले लो ताकि आपको भी थोड़ा दिमाग चलेगा. I can continue for 8 hours, but आपको समझ में आना चाहिए. Is it clear? Take a break of 10 minutes. Come back. We'll write the definitions and we'll also go into detail about what is this aspect. Is it clear? Chalo. Take a break and come after 10 minutes. Am I audible now? So let us now go into bit detail और geographic part before पहले पढ़ लेते हैं, बाद में dictation का part is easy, right? पहले because now you can give your better concentration. अभी what we started with environment means a very general term which means everything. It is just like आपको UPSC में IAS होना है, उसके लिए ऑप्शनल क्या लेना है, GS का प्रिपरेशन कैसे करना है, करंट अफेयर क्या करना है, ये डिटेल में जाना है. बट IAS होना इज समथिंग लाइक एनवायरमेंट, मतलब everything that is surrounding an organism, which is a very general term, which includes everything that is your environment. That component of the earth which supports the life is your biosphere. Biosphere is further divided into certain smaller structure and function unit, which we call it as an ecosystem. Now these ecosystems are present on the land and in the water both, because at both the places you have life, right? The scientific study of the ecosystem is your ecology. The address of a particular organism or the place of residence of a particular organism is your habitat, right? Now sometimes the word is interchangeably used between forest ecosystems or forest biomes, grassland ecosystem or grassland biome, desert ecosystem or desert biome. But before using these terms, let us try to understand what are these and how they are formed. उसका बेसिक समझते हैं. एंड दिस इफ आई से फॉरेस्ट इकोसिस्टम एंड फॉरेस्ट बायोम्स दोनों एक ही है, बट स्टिल द वर्ड्स आर इंटरचेंजेबली यूज्ड. वो होता क्या है ये समझने के लिए पहले दिस इज द टॉपिक दैट आई एम गोइंग टू टीच यू इन नेक्स्ट 10 मिनट्स. ये ज्योग्राफी का पार्ट है, राइट? पहले वो समझते हैं. टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट, कम टू दिस पार्ट फर्स्ट. दिस इज आवर अर्थ, दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. Habitat, we have discussed the place of residence. Now on this earth we have these oceans, these continents. On these continents we have forest, Amazon rainforest in Brazil, Congo rainforest in Africa, Western Ghats in India, and Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Philippines, right? All this you are having the dense forest. Here you are having Sahara desert. Here also you have Atacama, Patagonia desert. In India you have Thar desert. That means you are having dense forest also, deserts also, grasslands also, and polar ecosystem also. Getting the point? Before understanding these words, let us try to understand how they were formed and why they were formed. Is it clear? So, if you try to understand our earth itself, earth, before 13.7 billion years ago, a big bang theory took place and the formation of the universe started. In universe you have multiple galaxies. In galaxies, our galaxy is Milky Way galaxy. In Milky Way galaxy we have the main source of energy is our sun. Around the sun we are having various planets, right? Various planets, right? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and these are revolving around the sun in the elliptical path, all of them, right? Now here we are concerned about this planet, that is Earth. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Now our earth is present at a very far distance from the sun. sun से बहुत दूर है ये. So imagine here you have sun, here you have sun, all these things you are going to need, and from here sun is emitting the energy, and the energy is traveling from the sun towards the earth. Sun is generating what I said, energy. How is sun generating the energy? Sun generates the energy because of nuclear fusion, not fission. Nuclear fusion. Nuclear fission takes place where? In nuclear power plants. What is the difference between a fission and a fusion? Fission मतलब तोड़ना, fusion मतलब जोड़ना, Getting the idea? Simple. So basically here the helium and hydrogen atoms are getting joined in the sun, and because of that energy is generated and energy is transmitted towards the earth in the form of electromagnetic spectrum, that is gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, visible spectrum, infrared, microwaves and radio waves. ये एक स्पेक्ट्रम है, मतलब एक फोटॉन्स जो लाइट आती है ना अर्थ पे, दैट इज जनरेटेड हियर एंड दैट इज ट्रांसमिटेड टुवर्ड्स द अर्थ, राइट? जस्ट इमेजिन this is our earth, this is the earth, and from that sun this is the earth, and imagine sun is very far distance. That is why I am going to show you sun as a small entity. Actually sun is extremely big, but sun is sending the energy towards the earth, and right now the inclination of sun is 90 degrees. मतलब ये axis है, this is the axis, imagine 3D में, and this is the axis, this is tilted, this is straight. Now this is straight axis, and from that energy is generated, energy is transmitted, and if this earth is straight at its axis 90 degrees, then the energy received at this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, will it be same or different? Same. Now earth is not like this, earth is tilted like this. So because of this what happens, where will be the energy more? At this point. Logical? That means because of this earth and its tilt, because of the earth which is geoid in the shape, and because of, yes, it is perpendicular, but earth is logically tilted, and earth is rotating around itself from west to east, right? Earth straight nahi hai, earth is tilted. Imagine this is my hand is earth, a round geoid shape, it is not straight. If it was straight, everywhere the solar insolation would be same, but now it is tilted, correct? Now since it is tilted, this part will receive less insolation and this part will receive more insolation, right? That is what I am showing it here. Be very attentive. This you will need in geography, extremely important, because depend upon this most of the ecosystems and biomes have been formed. So earth is like this, and because of this earth is like this, क्या हो रहा है? This is the axis around which earth is revolving. So because of this, when sun का solar radiation is there, this part will receive inclined radiation. ऐसे logical inclination will be there. All of if it was like this, everywhere 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90, ऐसा नहीं अभी. It is like this. So inclination will be changing. Logical. Because of that, this part will be having. Because of this, this part will be having less insolation. Less insolation. What am I using the word? Insolation. Insolation. Insolation का मतलब क्या होता है? Incoming solar radiation, right? So if there is less energy, that means temperature will be less. यहाँ पे temperature will be less ना, because it is like this inclined, correct? Since it is inclined, this part will be having less insolation. So if it is having less insolation, temperatures are low. So here if temperature is low, understand? यहाँ पे क्या है? Temperature is low, and because of this here you have formation of the glaciers, correct? In the North Pole and in the South Pole. कैसे होता है ये? Understand this. When earth is like this, imagine earth is like this. At this point is receiving more insolation, right? This is a Bisleri written, right? This part is the part which is facing the sun as of now. Earth is not like this, it is tilted. तो अभी यहाँ पे this part has more insolation and this has less insolation. But earth is also, this is rotation, and like rotating it is also revolving. This is sun. Earth is rotating around itself. Rotation causes days and nights, and revolution causes seasons. समझ में आया यहाँ तक? अब just understand. Here इमेजिन दिस इज डे एंड इट हैज़ रोटेटेड, तो अभी यहाँ पे क्या हो गया, नाइट, एंड हियर डे. लॉजिकल. अर्थ इज नॉट लाइक दिस, इट इज इंक्लाइंड, but when it is inclined here it has less insolation, here it has more energy. Because of that, here it has more heat, less heat. But now when it is rotating and revolving, because of revolution, earth from here came here like this. So because of this, now here it will have more insolation, here it will have less insolation. Earlier क्या था, here it was having more, here it was having less. But when it came here, now it is having more, it is having less. Getting the idea? Because of this variable insolation at extreme north and south pole, what happens? You will have glaciers. But in general, throughout the year, let it here now there is less insolation, here it is more. But when it is coming here, it is more, here it is less. But in general, this part, the middle part, that is between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, throughout the year you have insolation, right? That is what you see here. You have Earth ka, this is your 0 degree, this is your 90 degree, this is your equator, this is your Tropic of Cancer, and this is your Tropic of Capricorn. This is your Tropic of Capricorn, and this is your Tropic of Cancer, correct? Tropic of Cancer. On equator, throughout the year you have high amount of insolation, matlab more heat. Now just imagine, below this surface someone is heating from below. If someone is heating from below, earth will get heated. If earth is getting heated, whatever is overlying over it, air, imagine air is overlying over it, it will also get heat by conduction and convection. If air is getting heated, it will get lighter and it will rise above, correct? So because here the temperature, again I am writing it here, simultaneously showing, here the temperature क्या है, low temperature, correct? Here you have equator के ऊपर क्या है, high temperature, correct? Wherever you have high temperature, pressure is generally low. जहाँ पे भी low temperature होता है, pressure is high. Logical? So temperature is high, temperature is low. There is something called as air and there is something called as wind. Movement of air is called as wind. Wind का common sense है, wind or the air movement is generally from high pressure to low pressure. तो wind यहाँ से यहाँ पे move करना शुरू करेगा. Logically? On the earth surface. But on this earth surface, we have everything. That means wind should blow from this part towards this part. Logical hai? That means on the earth you have different pressure belts. This is your one pressure belt and this is your one pressure belt. It is present in polar area. That is why it is called as polar high pressure belt. Correct? This is your equator के पास low pressure. That is why it is called as equator low pressure belt. समझ में आया सबको? These are the two pressure belts which are formed because of variable insolation. Logical? But there are not two pressure belts, there are four pressure belts. How they are formed, etc. you study in geography. But in simplest words, try to understand, there are two more words, two more pressure belts. That is, this is subtropical area, that is Tropic of Cancer wala. That is subtropical high pressure belt, and this is your subpolar. ये polar है and this is your subpolar region. Subpolar low pressure belt. समझ में आया सबको? So the winds will move from high pressure to the low pressure like this. Winds will move from high pressure towards again low pressure like this, and again from high pressure towards the low pressure like this. Correct? यहाँ पे भी same things will happen in the southern hemisphere. Here it will be high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, low pressure. Winds will move from here like this, high pressure to low pressure, then again high pressure towards the low pressure. Logical? And from high pressure towards the low pressure. Correct? This is the wind pattern on the earth's surface. This is the wind pattern on the earth surface. When now winds are moving, I hope that you are getting the idea.
Yes, sir.
Now when winds are moving, just imagine, I am trying to tell you the biomes, but before biomes you should try to understand the climates of the world. So in general I am giving you an idea. I am not teaching you geography, guys. Again, don't worry. I am trying to teach you only the biomes part, but for that you should understand this. So exactly the same thing, the wind patterns, equator, subtropical high pressure belt, subpolar low pressure belt. So ये high pressure belt कहाँ पे होता है? What is this? 23.5 degree north, because this is north, this is your south, this is Tropic of Cancer, this is your Tropic of Capricorn. So in general समझ लो, exactly the same thing wind systems I am showing it on the basically यहाँ पे. This is your equatorial low pressure belt, correct? Equatorial low pressure belt present along 0 degrees, correct? And this is your basically आपका yellow वाला is your polar high pressure belt, correct? What is this? 90 degree वाला, correct? Now other than this, here you have subtropical high pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt, and here again you have subpolar low pressure belt. समझ में आया सबको? And exactly the same thing is happening here. That is, here again you will have same होता है, ऊपर नीचे both places you will be having same things. Got the idea? So this is in general. So this is what is the actual seeing pattern. ये ऐसा दिखता है when it is shown on the globe, but on this globe here you will have different continents. Like for example, here you will be having North America like this ऐसे. Just imagine ऐसे. I have just shown it exactly इसी का version here for your better understanding. And on this you have different wind system like this. Correct? These are the wind system. Why they are inclined in this way, that we will study later. Getting the idea? So these are your wind system. Now when wind is moving, it will now when this wind is moving, it will also carry abundant amount of, what I am saying, abundant amount of water and moisture with it. Correct? This is how the winds are moving. Correct? On the earth surface. सबको समझ में आ रहा है? So because of this wind system, पहले because of variable insolation, variable मतलब different insolation, pressure belts are formed. Because different pressure belts are formed, wind system on the earth is developed. And because of wind system that is developed on the earth, oceanic currents will also move, right? If the wind is moving like this, water will also move like that only. At least upper layer water, not bottom layer, upper layer, those are called as oceanic currents. Movement of the water in a particular direction under the influence of these planetary winds is called as oceanic current. Movement, now imagine I am a wind, I am moving like this. If I am moving like this, पानी को भी लेके जाऊंगा ना मैं, because there will be friction between me and the water surface. Logical? So movement of the wind or water in a particular direction under the influence of the planetary wind is called as oceanic current. So because of oceanic currents and because of these pressure belts on the earth surface, you have different type of climatic regions. जैसे for example, here you will have a climate that is equatorial type of climate, that is from 0 to 10 degrees, ये वाला areas में. Here you will have high temperature, correct? High temperature, and along with high temperature you have high precipitation. High temperature and high precipitation. If temperature is high, precipitation is high, मतलब पानी भी है and insolation is also there, tree growth will be automatically more. That is why you have dense forest in this area, Congo, Amazon, etc. Got the idea? So all these are representing your ecosystems. I am using another word for it, that is biome. Biomes are large terrestrial areas. Not only terrestrial, but in general I am saying terrestrial land-based areas. Terrestrial matlab land, large land areas on earth surface, having similar type of vegetation and climate. Now logically tell me, if I want to say this area, is it visible, the color? Yeah. So this color, that is, what is this present here? What is here? Which continent is this? Africa, right? Sahel and Sahara region. Here you have Thar desert. Here you have Western Australian desert, right? Here you have different, basically normal deserts, Atacama, Patagonia deserts. There are different regions. What are these? These are the larger areas on the earth's surface, having similar type of climate and vegetation. So here climate matlab temperature and precipitation for long duration of time. Here the temperature and precipitation is, temperature is high, precipitation is, that is why it is called as desert. So these are your deserts. These are the desert biomes. So the type of the trees that you find here, what are those? Eucalyptus, acacia, palm trees, सभी तरफ मिलेगा आपको. मतलब similar type of climate and similar type of vegetation on the earth's surface you will find. Such areas on the earth I am calling it as biomes. I can call them as for desert ecosystems. I can also call them as desert, I will also call it as desert ecosystem. दोनों एक ही है. But when I am studying the deserts from ecological perspectives, then that is your desert ecosystem. When I am studying desert formation from geographic perspective, उसको मैं बोलता हूँ desert biomes. Here I have not taught you how and why the desert is formed here only. Desert यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं और यहाँ पे क्यों है? That you study in geography. समझ में आया आपको? That is desert biome. मतलब understanding an area, its formation, a climate from geographic perspective is your biome. और उसी एरिया को if it is studied from ecological perspective, it is called as ecosystem. समझ में आया? मतलब here हमें क्या पढ़ना है? Acacia, eucalyptus, euphorbia. Where are they present? For example, they are sparsely located. They will have tap water root system because the water will be at the deeper aquifers. तो उसके लिए tap water होगा उनके पास. They will not have any leaves. They will have thorns. Some of the trees will not have thorns also. Directly green stems होगा. That means studying that area in scientific way to understand the interactions, interdependence with respect to transfer of matter and energy, आप उसी को बोलेंगे ecosystem. समझ में आया आपको? So these words are interchangeably used. I hope that you got clarity, right? So these words are extremely important. I started from the basics and I came till this point. So some of the times in levels of ecology, it will be called as population, individual organism, population, community, multiple communities, ecosystem, or biomes, and then basically biosphere. Is it clear? You write environment. Environment means, environment represents everything surrounding an organism. Environment represents everything surrounding an organism. Everything surrounding an organism, which includes both biotic and abiotic elements, which include both biotic and abiotic elements. full stop. Next point, environment is hence environment is hence a sum total sum total of all the conditions sum total of all the condition that influence life and development of an organism समझ में आया सबको? एनवायरमेंट का मतलब क्या है? नेक्स्ट यू राइट बायोस्फीयर. Biosphere is that biological component of the earth. Biosphere is the biological component of the earth which supports life. Next point, it is generally absent at extreme north and south pole. It is generally absent at extreme north and south pole due to extreme hostile conditions. Due to extreme hostile conditions. In bracket write extreme low temperatures, extreme low temperature, lack of insulation and soil. Lack of insulation and well-developed soil. Bracket complete. Lack of insulation and well-developed soil. You can draw this: hydrosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere, biosphere. Don't write this, you have already written. Hydro means water, sphere मतलब that area, right? Litho मतलब land, sphere मतलब वैसे ही, bio means life, sphere मतलब the place where life is present, right? Next, habitat. You write habitat. Habitat represents, what is habitat representing? Right? The address. The habitat represents the place of residence. Habitat represent the place of residence. Habitat represent the place of residence. In bracket write address. Bracket complete. Place of residence. In bracket write address. Bracket complete. Of an organism. Example. For polar bears, what is its habitat, guys? North Pole. Arctic, right? Comma. Second example. For one-horn rhino, for Indian one-horn rhino, what is the habitat? Where do you find one-horn rhino? Kaziranga National Park. And what is Kaziranga National Park? Is it a forest or a grassland? It is a grassland. For one-horn rhino, habitat is a grassland. Is a grassland. In bracket write Kaziranga National Park. That does not mean in grassland there are no trees. Trees hote, but mainly grasses. Is it clear? समझ में हैबिटेट का मतलब? नेक्स्ट यू राइट फॉर पेंगुइन्स, habitat is Antarctica. For penguin, habitat is Antarctica. Next, ecosystem. So what is ecosystem, guys? So this biosphere, when divided into structure function unit, is your ecosystem. Ecosystem is structural and functional unit of a biosphere. Ecosystem is, I have written everything on the board. Ecosystem is structural and functional unit of biosphere. Structural and functional unit of biosphere, consisting of community of living beings, and physical environment, community of living beings and physical environment. Physical environment मतलब क्या? Abiotic component. And community of living organisms मतलब क्या? Biotic components, which are interacting and exchanging matter and energy for sustenance. Right? Next point. Sir Arthur Tansley coined the word ecosystem. Sir Arthur Tansley coined the word ecosystem in 1935. Next point. Ecosystem is a self-regulating and self-sustaining unit. Got the idea about the ecosystem? हमें डिटेल में पढ़ना है. Next, ecology. The scientific study of the living organisms, scientific study of the relationship of the living organisms, with each other and with the external environment, is called as ecology. The term ecology, next point, the term ecology was coined by Ernest Haeckel, H-A-E-C-K-E-L, Ernest Haeckel in 1866. ये UPSC नहीं पूछेगा, don't worry. Next, ERNEST-HAECKEL. Next is levels of organization in ecology. First, what is first? Individual organism. Right, like this only. I will give two lines. यहाँ पे भी दो lines, यहाँ पे भी ऐसे. Individual organism. Organism is a individual species. Organism is a individual species. उसका मतलब क्या है? वो बोल रहा हूँ मैं. Organism is a individual species which has ability to act and function independently, which has ability to act and function independently. Next, population. क्या है population? Multiple organisms of the same species. Multiple organisms of a same species. Multiple organisms of a same species, which can interbreed, forms the population, constitute or forms a population. Next, community. It represents population of what? Different species. Population of different species in an area. Before writing next, tell me, what is the diversity of this classroom in the terms of ecology? There is no diversity, सिर्फ एक species है. Number is more. There are two things: species diversity, genetic diversity. बाद में आएंगे इसके ऊपर, but still I am telling you, there are three things. Diversity means, diversity का मतलब क्या था? India is a classic example of unity in diversity. Diversity in the terms of the food, race, religion, everything. Diversity means variation. I am saying variation in terms of the species, and second I am telling variation in the terms of genetic makeup. So if you try to understand these two things, species diversity and genetic diversity, and if you try to link these two things in our classroom right now, this classroom, what can I say? I can say species diversity is only one. क्या है? हम लोग सब लोग एक ही species है. That is Homo sapiens. But genetic diversity is almost around 50. Because मेरा genetic makeup is different than you. आपका अलग है, सबका अलग है. Getting the idea? समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Next, those are the things that we study. Next is ecosystem. Structure and function unit of a biosphere. Structural and functional unit of the biosphere is ecosystem. उसी के नीचे इमीडिएट देखो biome. Represents large naturally occurring community of large naturally occurring here we are taking example of desert. Large naturally occurring community of plants and animals in a particular major area. Got the idea? Example, desert biome. desert biome. Matlab in desert biome, the plants and animals will be of same type. Getting the idea? Next is your biosphere. Next is your, उसके बाद biosphere. Multiple biomes together form the biosphere. Getting the idea? हाँ या ना बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
इतना डायग्राम्स निकाल के बोला है, अभी तो समझ में आना चाहिए. Multiple biomes together form the biosphere. Correct? Next you write levels in ecology हो गया and ये भी definitions हो गया. That means just see the index. The first point, I think first point we have basic terminology. I hope you understood, right? पहला समझ में. Let us now study second point. That is ecosystem. Ecosystem first we will understand. Be attentive here. Don't write. पहले सुनो. First we will understand the meaning, types of ecosystem and components of ecosystem. Now, if you have understood all the diagrams which I have drawn, then you will easily understand what is this. Let us come to this point, ecosystem. 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 Ecological system or ecosystem means, or the meaning, what is the meaning? Tell me. It is a structure and a functional unit of the biosphere which has biotic and abiotic components which are interrelated, interdependent and interacting within themselves and with the external environment by the transfer of matter and energy. Now this ecosystem on the earth's surface can be classified in two types, mainly in two types. Ecosystem can be classified mainly in two types. One is your artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem. Artificial means man-made. And second is your natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem. That means because of nature itself these ecosystems have been formed. Natural, we are interested more in natural ecosystem, not in artificial. Natural ecosystems are further divided into two types. One is your land based and second is your water based. So land is called as terrestrial. So terrestrial ecosystems and second is your water based. Water based को क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? Aquatic ecosystems, right? That is water based ecosystems. Now on the land, that is land based ecosystems are further classified depending upon the vegetation climate of a particular area into four types. First is your forest ecosystem, correct? Forest ecosystem. Second was your grassland ecosystem, correct? Grassland ecosystem. Third was your desert ecosystem, correct? And fourth is your tundra ecosystem, मतलब polar areas वाला tundra ecosystem, correct? Forest, in forest you have different plants and animals. Desert में अलग, grassland में अलग and polar में अलग. So we are going to study all of them together make land based, and land based make, but basically land and aquatic and everything make together biome, that is biosphere. Of this aquatic ecosystem, that is water based ecosystem, are further classified on the basis of salinity. On the basis of salinity. On the basis of salinity. Salinity means the total amount of dissolved salts per 1000 milligram of the water. Presently मैं ये पानी पी रहा हूँ. Is it basically fresh water, marine water, or brackish water? Fresh water. We can drink water which is a fresh water. That means how much amount of dissolved salt is present in a water, that will help us to determine the salinity of water. Now if you try to understand the salinity of water, let us try to understand through this basically simple diagram. Abhi ye dekho, if you try to understand India, in India, here from Gangotri Yamunotri, you have a river called as Ganga. Here you have a Brahmaputra river, right? This is your river Narmada, this is your river Tapi, this is your Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and this is your Mahanadi, right? Logical, simple rivers bol raha hu. All these are rivers. This is your basically oceans. This is your Arabian Sea, and this is your Bay of Bengal, correct? So these are your seas, and let us consider these are your oceans. Now both seas and oceans, water can you drink? No. Why? Because the salinity is extremely high. So salinity is extremely high in the oceans and the seas. Salinity is low. Here we can drink the water, rivers ka water we can drink. And along this area, if you try to understand this area, this place. Now what is happening at this place? These are the transition areas from this part towards this part, correct? So can I say this is a river, right? This is the ocean. Rivers and the oceans. Rivers are the water bodies. Oceans is also water body. In rivers, basically the salt content is very less. The total amount of dissolved salt content per 1000 milligram of water is less than 5 parts per 1000. Salinity is measured in parts per 1000. If it is less than 5 units, then that is fresh water. It is called as fresh water. If the salinity in the oceanic water, if it is more than 35 parts per 1000, then that is your marine water. Marine water, matlab which cannot be consumed. But there are certain transition areas from this fresh water towards this कौन सा marine water. कहाँ पे? Estuaries. This is called as estuary. Estuary is a place where river is meeting the ocean, or this basically Sundarban delta. So such places which are between 5 to 35 parts per 1000. So यहाँ पे क्या है? Basically fresh water है, ये वाला fresh water है, and this is your brackish water. So in short, that area, let us consider this is your fresh water. मतलब किसका? नर्मदा river का, correct? And Arabian Sea का there is something called as marine water, where salinity is basically more than 35, और इसको क्या है? Salinity is less than 5%. But there is one transition zone ना, जिसके बीच में salinity is between 5 to 35. Such areas are called as brackish water. Example: estuary, deltas, mangroves, etc. That means what I am trying to say, I am dividing basically this, I am dividing this aquatic ecosystem on the basis of salinity into fresh water. Fresh water, because both of these are water based. Now we are right now discussing about the water based ecosystems on the earth surface. On the earth surface we find fresh water ecosystems, brackish water and sea water, matlab marine water, and marine water ecosystems. Example: if the salinity is less than 5 parts per 1000, here the salinity will be between 5 to 35 parts per 1000, and here the salinity will be more than 35 parts per 1000. Now here each of this ecosystem is represented by different basically examples. Freshwater ecosystem is represented by, what is represented by? Rivers, correct? Rivers, ponds, oxbow lakes, ये सारे क्या है? या फिर ग्लेशियर का रिवर वाटर्स, राइट? स्प्रिंग्स, what are those? Those are all fresh water जो हम लोग पी सकते हैं, right? Brackish water मतलब transition. Let us consider marine water. Marine water का example would be your seas and oceans, correct? and this brackish water will be the transition areas like estuaries, or your be estuaries or deltas, mangroves, etc. ये भी ecosystem है, but these ecosystems I am saying they are present mainly on land. These ecosystems are in water based. वाला further I have divided on the basis of salinity. Here depending upon the major dominant vegetation type मैंने 4 को divide किया है. All of these together are consisting biosphere. Getting the idea? But मैंने इसको divide किया. That means I am trying to tell you the types of ecosystem on the basis of nature itself. ये हम लोगों ने नहीं बनाया, ये nature ने बनाया खुद. Getting the idea? Different insolation, different climatic regions, etc. ये किसने बनाया? It is natural since the inception of Earth. Getting the idea? Artificial मतलब if you go to Bhakra Nangal Dam देखा आप लोगों ने, ponds which are constructed by the human beings, rice fields or paddy fields, they are artificially made by the human beings. Such ecosystems which are created by the human beings are called as artificial ecosystem. UPSC के लिए ये ज़्यादा important है नहीं, natural are important. Now here, tell me, forest ecosystems are extremely important. Why forests are important, guys? Why do you want to grow the forest? Because they help in regulating the climate. They are natural carbon sink. How I will explain you. तो इसीलिए forests are important. So where are these forests? Why are they growing there? Their distribution, their issues, their threat, their conservation efforts. ये आपका क्या है? This is your mains का part. Aquatic ecosystem का different ecosystems ये आपका mains का part. This we study later. Is it clear? But I hope you understood the meaning. Structure and function unit of the biosphere is ecosystem. Ecosystem can be further divided into different types on the natural ecosystem on the basis of their main habitat, that is water based and land based, on the basis of salinity, and here on the basis of the major dominant vegetation and the climatic type. Correct? Now this ecosystem, what was the meaning? Tell me, meaning of the ecosystem? Structure and function unit of the biosphere consisting of biotic and abiotic elements. Now here try to understand ecosystem and its components. Components of the ecosystem. Ecosystem का definition again. Now here each this is one ecosystem. This is river is one ecosystem. सारे लोग ecosystem. So all of these are together consisting biosphere. That means again I am saying ecosystem is a structural and a functional unit of the biosphere which is having, what is it having? Biotic and abiotic elements. Very good. Biotic and abiotic elements. Abiotic elements where there is interaction between both biotic and abiotic and within biotic themselves for transfer of matter and energy. These biotic elements of the ecosystem, what are we trying to study? We are studying components of what? Ecosystem. Matlab in any ecosystem what you find is both biotic and abiotic elements. Biotic elements means those elements which are living organisms, These living organisms in any ecosystem could be, सबसे पहला it should be producer. They are producers. Secondly, consumers. And third is your decomposers. Producers are the organisms which can prepare their own food. Who can prepare their own food? Plants. So that is why plants are living components and they are producers, and that is why they are called as autotrophs. That means self-nourishing. Auto means khud ka. Nourishment is called as autotrophic plants. We are consumers. Can we prepare our own food? No. Either you are vegetarian, a non-vegetarian, eggitarian, kuch bhi rehne do. We have to depend upon someone. That means we are heterotrophic. That means dependent upon certain other organisms for our nourishment. Correct? And decomposers are called as saprotrophs. Saprotrophs. Who are saprotrophs? Mainly bacteria and fungi. For example, just imagine if there is any stray dog who have died, you get a foul smell, right? Q, because of the decomposition that is ongoing. Correct? Now here the consumer could be primary, secondary or tertiary. Imagine there is a grass. Grass मतलब producer. Grass को खाया deer ने. So that means deer is a primary consumer and deer is consumed or hunted further by the tiger. So tiger हो गया आपका secondary consumer. समझ में आया आपको? And after death of all these organisms, इनका काम शुरू होता है, that is decomposers. We study all this. So ये basic समझ में आया आपको? This biotic. So interaction is there between this. Just now I said grasses consumed by deers. Deers consumed by tigers. That means there is interaction between these also. Correct? Interaction for the transfer of energy, because deer can survive only after eating the grass. मतलब energy for the deer comes from producers and energy for the tiger comes from deer. Right? मतलब he is a carnivore. Who? Tiger. That means there is interrelation and interdependence between these organisms for the transfer of energy. But these are also impacted by the abiotic, मतलब non-living components. Non-living components. Let us consider one of the example. For the growth of the trees or the grasses, what you need? Nutrition. हाँ या ना, खेती की है कभी, देखी है कभी? तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We use urea, manure, etc. That means nutrients in our fields. So here abiotic components are the components which are not having any life. That is why they are called as non-living abiotic components, right? Example. For example, temperature. Temperature. Second, you have water. Salinity. Very good. Soil. Soil. Sunlight. Sunlight, etc. Correct? Etc. All of these, are they having any life in it? No. But despite having no life, they are interacting with the biotic elements and are influencing the biotic elements. जैसे for example, when I came in the classroom, मैंने क्या हुआ शुरू में? I was sweating. Why? Because the temperature is more. Right? So that is why we switched on AC. But AC शुरू करने से पहले temperature was extremely, but external temperature was more. इसीलिए consumer, I am a consumer. I could be either a primary or secondary consumer, but I was impacted by temperature. इसीलिए I was sweating. Logical है ना? That means what is now? I hope you are getting the idea. Ecosystem is a structure, a function unit of the biosphere where both the elements are interacting, interdependent upon energy, each other for the transfer of matter and energy. And now here what we have to study in this abiotic components, all these abiotic components, how are biotic components responding to the abiotic components and are adapting to them. That is different response mechanism and adaptation mechanism by plants and animals. That is, plants को बोलते हैं flora, animals को बोलते हैं fauna. By living organisms. Response and adaptation by living organisms to whom? To abiotic components. This is what now we have to study. In the past 10 years, UPSC have loved this both the topics. बहुत डिटेल में जाना है ये दोनों को, बट यहाँ तक क्लियर हो गया सबको? Right? I will expand this, but before that, write about this classification and about this meaning. What are we dealing with? Be attentive. ये देख लिया. Now here we are dealing with ecosystem. You write ecosystem. New heading, ecosystem. Definition लिखो. Ecosystem, meaning. Same, meaning क्या है? Same. That is structure and function unit of a biosphere. Ecosystem is structural and functional unit of biosphere. Structural and functional unit of biosphere. Structural and functional unit of biosphere where both where both biotic and abiotic elements where both biotic and abiotic elements where both biotic and abiotic elements are interrelated and interdependent through transfer of matter and energy. Second point you write. अभी ये क्या देखा हमने? Be attentive. Meaning of ecosystem. Second point, what is the second point? Types. Second point you write types of ecosystem. Types or classification of ecosystem. Types or classification of ecosystem. Types or classification of ecosystem. Exactly right the way I have written. That is artificial ecosystem, natural ecosystem, natural का terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Right? Exactly how I have written. Artificial का example reservoirs, man-made reservoir, aquarium, crop field, etc. ये artificial ecosystem. This is not very important for UPSC. What is important is natural ecosystems. Natural ecosystem can be further classified as terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem on the basis of climate and the vegetation can be classified as forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem and tundra ecosystem. And aquatic ecosystem can be further classified on the basis of salinity, as freshwater ecosystem, brackish water ecosystem, freshwater ecosystem, brackish water ecosystem and marine water ecosystem. Here you can write example river ecology, pond ecology, etc. जो भी पानी पी सकते हो वो वाला लिख लेना. Brackish example estuaries, deltas, mangroves, estuary, delta, mangrove. Marine का ecosystem more than 35 parts per thousand. Example ocean ecosystem. Done? बहुत डिटेल में जाना है, don't worry. Next, components of the ecosystem. Draw this. Biotic मतलब living components and non-living components. Living components and non-living components. Producers, in bracket write autotrophs, heterotrophs, consumers, heterotrophs, and decomposers. Consumer could be either primary or secondary or tertiary. Example, quaternary भी हो सकता है, but tertiary तक लिख लो. Primary, secondary or tertiary. Decomposers means saprotrophs. Actually, decomposers are also called as heterotrophs, huh? Because they also cannot prepare their own food. Both of them are actually heterotrophs, but still I have written like this for our convenience. Decomposers, saprotrophs. Here abiotic components like temperature, salinity, water, sunlight, soil, etc. That is non-living components. Is it clear? Now what we have to see is different response and adaptation mechanism by the living organisms, that is biotic components, to the abiotic components. Is it clear? We have to study each and everything in detail. Response and adaptation by, next heading is your response and adaptation. Components भी हो गया, abiotic and biotic. We are not yet seen. We have to study in detail all these. यहाँ पे ही बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक है. This is very important for UPSC. We have to study different response mechanism and adaptation mechanism. समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Easy है ना? समझ में आएगा कल से. See, this response and adaptation is extremely important. It will take time, and I think few of you have to travel, so it will take another 1 hour. So what I will do for today, since it is the first lecture, आज के दिन 7:30 को I am leaving, but from tomorrow onwards I will take for longer time. कल longer time means till 8 o'clock. Need not to worry. 4 to 8 hours I will give you a break of 15-20 minutes. Since today is the first lecture, one more, be attentive. Class खत्म नहीं हुआ. I want you to go home on daily basis का बोल रहा हूँ. Routine क्या होना चाहिए ये बोल रहा हूँ. You can ask to last year OGP students if they are not following what is the consequence that they are facing right now when they are giving the prelims. I am telling you in detail schedule आपको क्या follow करना है. Got the idea? So you have the class, only one GS class as of now. So आपको, sorry, optional भी है ना, optional plus GS both. That means in the class you are spending around 7 hours, right? 4 घंटे GS का, 3 घंटे इसका. I am telling you ideal timetable, right? Ideal timetable what you should follow. I am writing here GS, I am writing here optional. That means I am helping you for planning. Understand this, huh? I am telling you this is at your own peril if you are not listening to it. GS का क्लास चल रहा है समझ लो 4 घंटा, ऑप्शनल का क्लास चल रहा है समझ लो 8 घंटा. These are your classes time. Now this is what you are doing as of now, and this is what you call as a preparation. ये कुछ भी नहीं है, टिप ऑफ द आइसबर्ग भी नहीं है. यहाँ से एक्चुअल काम शुरू होता है. After the classes, for example, today, whatever optional you are having, whatever the GS topics you are teaching, आज I have not covered up to a large because today I wanted to give you orientation. इसीलिए मैंने टाइम दिया because that is the most important thing. Now, for example, in classes, imagine tomorrow I will teach you 5 topics or today I have taught you 5 topics. तो आपको क्या करना है? These are the things that you should do on daily basis. This is just one component. घर जाके whatever the classes में notes are there. In the classes का notes component first. Notes component. I will give you time also. Notes components you are going to revise. Now tell me, to revise your class notes of 4 hours, लेट अस कंसीडर आज कितना पेजेस हो गया, 4-5 पेजेस, आज कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं मैंने, कल से 10 पेजेस के अराउंड आप होगा, राइट। फॉर रिवाइजिंग व्हाट इज टॉट टुडे, हाउ मच टाइम विल यू टेक? 30 मिनट्स, 1 आवर, मैक्सिमम 30 मिनट्स, क्या लगेगा? 30 minutes to 1 hour. Let me consider it as 45 minutes. I am not saying revision of the books. ये मतलब मजाक नहीं चल रहा है, ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, मैं जो भी अभी बोल रहा हूँ सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई एम नॉट कंसिडर द बुक्स, आई जस्ट कंसिडर द क्लास नोट्स. टू रिवाइज द क्लास नोट्स ओनली आई एम गिविंग यू 30 minutes. Exactly any option that you are taking, any teacher in 3 hours can teach and can give you the written notes. मैं PDF नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, वो PDF में मैं बिलीव नहीं करता. वो जो PDF चाहिए ना आपको टेलीग्राम पे, किलो में है, किलो में कोई भी है, किलोज में क्या है वो, मेगाबाइट्स टेराबाइट्स में, कुछ काम का नहीं है वो. समझ में आ रहा है? खुद से पढ़ो, खुद से करो. राइटिंग द नोट्स, रीडिंग फ्रॉम द बुक्स, जो भी क्लास में पढ़ा है ऑप्शनल के, रिवाइजिंग विल टेक 30 minutes. क्लास का बोल रहा हूँ, अभी तक बुक को हाथ में लगा, तो ये दोनों को मिलके एक्स्ट्रा 1 hour, राइट. नोट्स रिवीजन ऑफ द क्लासेस एंड उसके बाद रीडिंग द बेसिक एनसीईआरटीज. अब बेसिक एनसीईआरटी पढ़ते वक्त पूरा नहीं पढ़ना है, जितना मैंने पढ़ाया एंड जितना ये सर ने पढ़ाया होगा फ्रॉम एनी बुक एनसीईआरटी, सिर्फ उतना ही पढ़ना है. व्हाट यू गाइस डू, इतना मोटिवेटेड होते हो शुरू में कि मतलब मैं पूरा ही पढ़ लेता हूँ, ये भी है मेरा, आगे का भी पढ़ लेता हूँ, पीछे का भी पढ़ लेता हूँ, सो दैट आई कैन बी 1 step फॉरवर्ड. ये कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं होता है, आपको कंसिस्टेंसी मेंटेन करनी है. सो जो भी सर ने पढ़ाया यहाँ पे एंड यहाँ पे, सिर्फ उतना टॉपिक घर जाके एनसीईआरटी से पढ़ लो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल टुडेज टॉपिक यू कैन फाइंड इट इन चैप्टर नंबर 13 ऑफ बायोलॉजी एनसीईआरटी. आज का चैप्टर जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ that is chapter number 13 of 12th standard biology NCERT, which consists of around 25 to 30 pages. आज मैंने वो 30 pages में for example 7 pages पढ़ा है. So 7 pages of NCERT पढ़ने के कितना टाइम लगेगा आपको? कितना है? अभी आपने क्लास भी किया, रिवाइज भी किया, हाफ आवर ही लगेगा. Just you have to go through the book and ध्यान दो, just for going through the book, what will you find? You will find something extra. अगर मिलेगा थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा मिलेगा, तो उसको एनसीईआरटी पढ़ने के लिए 30 मिनट्स दे दो. एग्जैक्टली सेम फॉर ऑप्शनल ऑल्सो. आफ्टर रिवाइजिंग, आफ्टर रेफरिंग टू बुक, यू कैन गिव 30 minutes to 45 minutes. चलो इसको ज़्यादा दे दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. सो दिस इज येट अनदर 1 hour. लेट अस कंसिडर 1 hour. गेटिंग द आइडिया? सो 4 + 3 7, 8 and 9. एंड इसके बाद डेली रीड न्यूज़पेपर, करंट अफेयर खुद से 1 घंटा, 10 hours इसके लिए. एंड वन मोर, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू स्लीप ऑन डेली बेसिस फॉर 7 hours, 7 hours का स्लीप भी ले रहे हो आप. हाँ, सो आउट ऑफ 24 इफ यू आर कटिंग डाउन 7 hours, यू आर स्टिल लेफ्ट विथ 17 hours. 17 hours में से मैं सिर्फ 10 ही घंटे का बोला हूँ. इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग दिस, ट्रस्ट मी, मैं 10 का बोला हूँ. इसके ऊपर आपको जाके यहाँ पे इसके बाद एक मैं बोल रहा हूँ प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. आई एम नॉट इमीडिएटली आस्किंग यू कि आपको आना चाहिए आंसर. इन मार्केट यू गेट टॉपिक एंड सब टॉपिक वाइज एनसीईआर. टॉपिक एंड सब टॉपिक मतलब इकोलॉजी का चैप्टर, उसका भी उसने डिवाइड करके दिया है. फर्स्ट डेफिनेशंस, कंपोनेंट्स, फॉरेस्ट इकोसिस्टम, मैंग्रोव्स, ऐसे डिवाइड करके दिया है. आज हमारा टॉपिक कौन सा हुआ? बेसिक्स. सिर्फ उसी का क्वेश्चन देखना है आपको, पूरा नहीं देखना है आगे का. अगर वो टॉपिक में से सिर्फ एक ही क्वेश्चन आया तो एक ही देखो. गेटिंग द आइडिया? प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस इसका देखना है, प्रीलिम्स का एंड मेंस का. इनिशियली इट मे टेक टाइम, बट ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इट विल टेक इट्स ओन पेस, नीड नॉट वरी. सेम चीज ऑप्शनल का भी कर लो. न्यू विशाल का क्वेश्चन बैंक आता है, ऑल द ऑप्शनल्स का, उसका सिर्फ क्वेश्चन बैंक उठाओ. जो भी सर ने टॉपिक पढ़ाया, जो भी चैप्टर का पढ़ाया, लेट इट बी ज्योग्राफी, पीएसआईआर, एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, पबैड. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सेक्शन ए का सर ने चैप्टर नंबर 2 पढ़ाया, चैप्टर नंबर 2 के ऊपर सर ने ये 2 टॉप पॉइंट्स पढ़ाया, उसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आते कैसे है बस वो तो देख लो बस 10 मिनट में. इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू राइट इमीडिएटली, एटलीस्ट क्वेश्चन देख तो सकते हैं एंड रफ वर्क कर सकते हो. मतलब ऐसे हाँ ये इंट्रोडक्शन में आना चाहिए, ऐसा ऐसा कर तो सकते हो. इतना अगर इतना नहीं कर सकते तो 5th फ्लोर पे जाके कूद जाओ, राइट? आई एम नॉट आस्किंग यू टू राइट द आंसर, because I am asking you to do all these things after class, after reading the books, after revision. तो इतना दिमाग में आना चाहिए थोड़ा सा, तो ये करोगे, देखोगे, so this will keep you oriented on a line. Got the idea? So these are the things, and over the period of time, जैसे environment का 4 दिन होने के बाद राइटिंग शुरू करो. तो राइटिंग कौन सा शुरू करोगे आप? जो प्रीसीडिंग चल रहा है ना, या फिर साइमल्टेनियसली भी चलो. इफ टुडे आपको एक क्वेश्चन मिलेगा, यू वोंट बी एबल टू इमीडिएटली राइट द आंसर, बट 1 या 2 दिन जाने दो, आपको इमीडिएटली मिल जाएगा ग्रिप. और डेली कितना ऐसे लिखना है? 5-6 नहीं, 1. इफ यू आर डूइंग, ट्रस्ट मी, दिस एक्सरसाइज 365 डेज, फर्स्ट या सेकेंड अटेम्प्ट में पोस्ट है आपको हाथ में. अगर कुछ तूफानी करने का सोचोगे तो 5-6 साल तो ऐसे गुजर जाएंगे. आई वॉज ऑल्सो इन ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर, 26/11 में मैं रहता था यहाँ पे मदर डेयरी के पास, और उसके बाद सब कुछ किए हमने भी. सम ऑफ द टाइम आई वॉज देयर, नाउ आई एम हियर. मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ वही करो, यही सस्टेनेबल है. व्हाट द आइडिया? इतना करोगे तो मंथ एंड के बाद कंपाइलेशन ले लो, कोई भी आपको अच्छा लग रहा है करंट अफेयर्स का, उसका रिवाइज करो. न्यूज़पेपर का भी आपने पढ़ लिया. अब न्यूज़पेपर कैसे पढ़ना है, क्या पढ़ना है, वो बात अलग है. गेटिंग द आइडिया? If you are doing this ideally for a year or 1.5 year, trust me, in first or second attempt, 100% posted. And in this way only, we have developed and devised your schedule. मेरे वक्त कोई नहीं था मुझे ये सब कुछ बोलने के लिए. समझ में आया आपको? आई एम नॉट मोटिवेटिंग, आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू रियलिटी. बस इतना ही करना. जो क्लास चल रहा है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल वन ऑफ द गर्ल राइट नाउ वाज वो रीडिंग सम ये बुक, हिस्ट्री का बुक पढ़ रहा था कोई, तो यहाँ पे दिखाओ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई एम टेलिंग यू व्हाट यू शुड हैव डन. आई जस्ट टेल यू क्या करना चाहिए था आपको. व्हेन प्रदीप सर वाज टीचिंग, प्रदीप सर ने आपको क्या हुआ, क्या ही आस्क्ड यू नॉट टू रीड, जो भी होगा. आई एम गिविंग एग्जाम्पल. तो व्हाट आई वांट टू से, चलो लेट अस कंसीडर एनसीईआरटी तो बोला है. हाँ, एनसीईआरटी में सर ने बोला होगा, फॉर लेट अस कंसीडर दिस एज एनसीईआरटी. डोंट टेक इट, मतलब ये स्पेक्ट्रम को छोड़ दो, एनसीईआरटी समझ नहीं, समझ लो. बाद में यही हंसी क्या होता है, आई कैन नॉट यूज दैट वर्ड बिकॉज इट्स लाइव. सो भावना को समझो. मान लो ये एनसीईआरटी, सर ने आज तक आपको 1857 to 1909 का पढ़ाया. सिर्फ वही 2 एनसीईआरटी में से वही 4-4 पेजेस पढ़ने थे. अगर ऐसे किया होता तो अभी तक सारा एनसीईआरटी हो जाता, रिवीजन भी हो जाता, प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस एटलीस्ट सॉल्व नहीं किए बट देखे तो होते, और एक आंसर लिखा होता. तो आज आपका पूरा मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री खत्म होता सही से. समझ में आया मैंने क्या बोला? मतलब सर ने पढ़ा के गए, बट आगे का जो पार्ट था वो आपकी जिम्मेवारी कुछ तो है ना. गेटिंग आइडिया? सो स्लोली 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 करो. बिकॉज जैसे ही अभी क्या चल रहा है, कौन सा मंथ चल रहा है अभी? मई. जैसे ही अक्टूबर नवंबर आएगा, प्रीलिम्स का मोड शुरू होता है. तो उस वक्त ये सब कुछ करने के लिए फिर से वापस नहीं आ सकते आप. Why am I investing 5 to 10 minutes on you right now? Because you guys will only come to me in the October November. सर अभी ऐसे हुआ है, क्या करो आप बोलो. Because this is the most lean season of UPSC. क्यों? Because आपको कुछ इतना सीरियसनेस नहीं. सीरियसनेस कब आता है? जैन दिसंबर में. तब तक पूरा टाइम चला गया होता है. मान लो थोड़ा 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 अभी से किया आपने, नेक्स्ट 6 months यू विल बी कंप्लीटली रेडी बाय अक्टूबर. हिस्ट्री हो गया, एनवायरमेंट हो गया, ज्योग्राफी हो गया, पॉलिटी हो गया. क्या करना है बाकी? थोड़ा 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 करते जाओ आगे. बस सिर्फ रिवीजन करना है आपको, एमसीक्यू सॉल्व करने, बात खत्म. बट उसके लिए अब भी ये सब कुछ करना पड़ेगा. दिस इज नॉट स्ट्रेचिंग ना. 10-11 आवर्स इज नॉट स्ट्रेचिंग. अभी स्ट्रेच मत करो, सस्टेनेबली थोड़ा थोड़ा करो. बाद में दिस विल गिव यू एक्सपोनेंशियल रिजल्ट्स. ये स्टॉक मार्केट की तरह कंसिस्टेंटली थोड़ा 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 करो, बाद में बहुत पैसा मिलता है ना, ऐसा ही है. थोड़ा 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 करो. गेटिंग द आइडिया? पक्का करना, अगली बार से बोलूंगा नहीं. डन? सो आई होप दैट यू अंडरस्टूड, यू एंजॉयड. टुमारो विल सी. डेली या वही तो अभी दैट इज व्हाट ही सेड ना. यही मैं बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. व्हाट ही सेड, प्रेसिडिंग सब्जेक्ट को रिवाइज कब करूँ? अब नहीं. व्हाट ही हैज आस्क्ड इज वेरी जेन्युइन, वेरी राइट. अगर आपने उस वक्त डेली रिवाइज किया होता एंड वीकली जो टेस्ट होता है उस वक्त रिवाइज किया होता तो आज तक आपके वो टॉपिक का 2-2 बार रिवीजन हो जाता। एक है डेली नहीं, सुनो बात को पूरी समझो। आप लोगों ने मान लो आज हम लोगों ने कंपोनेंट्स, रेस्पॉन्स एंड अडेप्टेशन भी पढ़ लिया, आज का समझ लो पढ़ लिया, पढ़ भी लिया, आपने एनसीईआरटी पढ़ा, मतलब आज ही आपने रिवाइज किया 30 मिनट्स, या फिर कल क्लास को आने से पहले एक हो गया एंड वीकेंड में एक बार किया तो 2 बार होता। अब जब थर्ड टाइम आप करोगे मंथ एंड के बाद, क्लास के बाद एक 2-3 दिन छुट्टी रहता है आपको, तो उस वक्त वो पूरा सब्जेक्ट रिवाइज करने के लिए 3-4 दिन काफ़ी है। बट अगर आपको मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री अब मैंने रिवाइज करने के लिए बोला तो अब टाइम ही नहीं आपके पास, कब करोगे? इसमें ये स्लॉट में कहाँ पे बिठाओगे रिवीजन? आपकी जगह पे मैं भी होता तो भी मैं नहीं बिठा सकता इसको। इफ आई वॉज वन ऑफ द एस्पिरेंट ऑफ यू एंड इफ आई हैव नॉट रिवाइज्ड इट रेगुलरली एंड वीकली, तो अब कब करूँ? डेली 4 घंटा क्लास, 3 घंटा ऑप्शनल है, 1.5-2 घंटा न्यूज़पेपर में जा रहा है और ये भी आगे करना है, 11 घंटा इधर जा रहा है, तो कब करूँ रिवाइज? हो ही नहीं पाएगा ना। दैट मीन्स वंस इट इज लॉस्ट, वो छोड़ दो, आगे का कर लो। अब हिस्ट्री कब करना है पता है आपको? जब ये पूरा होगा ना तब जाके कर लो, बिकॉज अभी एनवायरमेंट चल रहा है, एनवायरमेंट खत्म नहीं किया तो आगे का सब्जेक्ट आ रहा है, आगे का आ रहा है तो उसके बाद आगे का आ रहा है, तो ये रह जाता है। और जब तक अक्टूबर आएगा तब तक हिस्ट्री पूरा इवेपोरेट, एनवायरमेंट पूरा इवेपोरेट, पॉलिटी पूरा इवेपोरेट। बट मान लो 2 या 3 टाइम ऑलरेडी रिवाइज करके हुआ है तो इट इज स्टिल इन द बैक ऑफ माइंड, सिर्फ यू हैव टू ब्रश अप। समझ में आ रहा है? सो दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग व्हाट ही आस्क्ड इज वेरी जेन्युइनली। अब हिस्ट्री का क्या करें? अब हिस्ट्री का कुछ नहीं कर सकते, अब जो चल रहा है वो कर चलने दो। एटलीस्ट ये सही से करो। नहीं, दिस क्वेश्चन वाज आस्क्ड टू मी बाय द लास्ट टाइम ओजीपी बैच आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ 6 सब्जेक्ट्स। तो मैं बोला बिकॉज लास्ट टाइम एनवायरमेंट वाज डन लेटर एट द एंडिंग पार्ट, और सेम क्वेश्चन एक बच्चे ने पूछा था, अब क्या करूं? 5 सब्जेक्ट होने के बाद अब क्या करूं, क्या बोलूं मैं उसको? आप बोलो मुझे। और प्रीलिम्स भी आ रहा है, उसका ऑप्शनल भी चल रहा है। हाँ? नहीं, सी दीज आर वेरी गुड जेन्युइन क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम एस्पिरेंट्स पर्सपेक्टिव। तो अभी से शुरू करो, मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ ना उतना ही करो, थोड़ा 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 करना है, हो जाएगा। वो साइमल्टेनियस ऑप्शनल भी हो जाएगा, जीएस के 4-5 सब्जेक्ट भी हो जाएंगे, उसके बाद ब्रशअप भी चल रहा है, सब कुछ चल रहा है, हो जाएगा। एंड ऊपर नीचे थोड़ा बहुत होता है, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, बट कंप्लीट सब्जेक्ट रिवीजन का हो गया, बस सिर्फ क्लास किया, वैसे नहीं होता। या फिर मैं पूरा क्लास करूंगा अभी, सिंस आई एम डूइंग ग्रेजुएशन, उसके बाद 1 साल में रिवाइज करूंगा, वो भी नहीं होता। साइमल्टेनियसली चीज़ों को चलने दो, थोड़ा थोड़ा चलने दो, बट साइमल्टेनियसली चलने दो। ये जो ख्याल पुला हुआ है ना कि मतलब पूरा एक बार होने दो उसके बाद रिवाइज करते, कभी होता ही नहीं, वो दिन ही नहीं आएगा। राइट, अभी देखो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू आर स्टिल फीलिंग दैट यू आर नॉट येट अंडरस्टूड, स्पेशली फॉर दिस कंपोनेंट, आपको लग रहा है कि सर ने जो पढ़ा है, जो मैंने रिवाइज किया, रेफरेंस बुक पीवाईक्यू, वो नहीं हो रहा है, तो मुझे थोड़ा और एक आधा घंटा चाहिए ताकि मैं मतलब एक बार एटलीस्ट स्क्रॉल कर लूँ रेफरेंस बुक को। तो यहाँ पे 10 घंटे का प्लान है, 2 घंटे बढ़ाओ ना, अभी क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है? 12 कर लो। 12 करोगे तो भी आप 7 घंटे सो रहे हो, 12 करने का 12 घंटे बाकी है आपके पास, एंड वीकेंड में एक ऑफ ले लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, तभी भी हो जाएगा ना मैनेज। बट ये अभी से कर लो, मेक इट वेरी सस्टेनेबल। डोंट ट्राई टू मेक इट 18 आवर्स 16 आवर्स, डेली 10 घंटा 12 घंटा सही है, उसमें हो जाता है। गेटिंग द आइडिया? आई होप यू गॉट अ क्लैरिटी अबाउट हाउ टू गो। व्हाई आई टोल्ड यू नाउ, बिकॉज होने के बाद, जैसे उसने मुझे हिस्ट्री होने के बाद पूछा, तो वैसे कल जाके 4-5 सब्जेक्ट होने के बाद उसके मन में ये नहीं आना चाहिए, अब भी आना चाहिए, बिकॉज स्टिल नाउ ही हैज द टाइम इन हिज हैंड, बिकॉज टाइम इज वन सच थिंग विच इफ इट फ्लाइज यू कैनॉट गेट बैक। एनीवेज, एंड वन मोर, फर्स्ट एंड द सेकेंड अटेम्प्ट्स आर योर बेस्ट अटेम्प्ट्स ऑफ द लाइफ। ऐसा मत सोचो पहला अटेम्प्ट है तो ऐसे ही दे रहा हूँ, ये बिल्कुल गलती मत करना। पहला या दूसरे अटेम्प्ट में ही निकलना चाहिए। इज इट क्लियर? मैक्सिमम 2 या 3, दिस शुड बी योर टारगेट, मैक्सिमम 2 ही। गेटिंग द आइडिया? एक में जो आता है ना, मतलब बहुत जोश वाले होते हैं, उनका कम होता है बाद में, बट 1 या 2 सस्टेनेबली करोगे तो सेकंड में तो 100% है। इफ यू ट्राई टू सी द प्रेजेंट list of the successful candidates, most of the candidates are from second and third attempt, or which are very young like you. बुड्ढे वाले 30, 28, 29, 31, 32 बहुत कम है बच्चे. So you have very golden opportunity. Do not miss it. Is it clear? And follow what is taught in the class. I hope you understood, you enjoyed. Tomorrow we'll see in detail. See you at 4 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you.